would be the invited teams in the PUIG Women's America's Cup.
It still gives me goosebumps to be able to say that we are part of history.
All clear and Canadians behind them.
It's the biggest stage in sailing.
Just going to keep it fast here.
Well, a very tidy start from the Spanish team.
These boats are super fast, they are super fun racing. The racing is also super tight, Australia can tell you.
Hey!
Oh, look out, look out.
It's turning up. Setting up
And the
for
Australians forced to take the wrong gate there. Big penalty.
Spain relative to Australia.
All these talented women, actually, I've only had a matter of a few hours on the boat.
To be able to be doing these sorts of speeds, sailing some foiling craft with the best women in the world is honestly surreal.
They are going to be flying around the track.
We feel definitely like underdogs. It's a big step up to be here, but it also will hopefully open a lot of doors for the future.
Will all come down to just doing the things right when it actually matters.
I think this is just the start, and we're going to see women's sport and women's sailing continue to progress and at a rapid pace.
Quality teams, great racecraft. The battle has started.
Hola and welcome to Barcelona for day 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup, where today the invited teams get ready to do battle in their AC40s. Yesterday, America's Cup teams experienced changing conditions. Italy was superb, winning 3 straight races after Great Britain had opened the day on top. Today, the 6 invited teams will throw down the gauntlet to the Cup teams to send a message that they are coming and they too have their eyes firmly set on winning the regatta. The prize at the end is the PUIG Women's America's Cup trophy. Not just any trophy, this is the inaugural cup, and all teams have said they want to be the first to claim a piece of history. So how do you win it? Well, first you have to be in the top 3 point scorers of your group. Achieve that after 8 races, you'll move to the semi-finals where there are 4 more fleet races. Finish in the top 2 and you're in the final on October 13, where it's a single match race showdown. Today, Canada, Sweden, Australia, Spain, Germany and the Netherlands go for it on the waters of Barcelona. The first 4 races are locked and ready to go, just like the sail teams. Yes, the sail teams are ready to go, docking out from Port Olympic, and there's a real festival atmosphere in this PUIG Women's America's Cup. All smiles, but once they get onto the water, they will be going for it. Yeah, they are Sweden. Who are you? Well, they are ready to go, as is the bouncing kangaroo.
Everyone needs a blow-up kangaroo in their quiver. All teams looking forward to some great racing today, hopefully.
I think the kangaroo is getting bigger and bigger with every outing, but these women have waited quite a long time for today to come. Huge excitement, friends, families, supporters. It's a great feeling.
And the really noticeable thing too is that the supporters seem to bring out so much more in the PUIG Women's America's Cup. They're just right into it from the get-go, and so they're jumping on board their AC40 just primed.
Well, most of these women are used to, leaving the Olympic dog, where maybe your coach helps you into the water and that's it. So this is really great. I mean, a true celebration.
Yeah, it is a celebration of sailing, and we had that yesterday, Glenn, didn't we? We saw some outstanding performances.
Absolutely, we saw some fantastic battles yesterday, and these women absolutely on the biggest stage of their careers, so they'll be looking forward to getting into it.
Well, that big stage of their career, of course, also adds a little bit more pressure, the pressure to perform, the pressure to make the top 3 in this group, and that's what you've got to do. Okay, why don't we meet the teams that are out on the course today?
Canada's Concord Pacific Racing Team has potential to make a mark here, led by SailGP strategist Isabella Bessold. She's backed up on the wheel by skiff Olympian Ali ten Hove, and with arguably the toughest job on the boat. In charge of trim, it's skiff Olympian Mariah Millen and single-hander Maura Dewey.
Representing Spain, Sail Team Barcelona are the locals and ready to race. Steering the AC40 is Sylvia Mars, and alongside her is Niels Ballester. Taking on trimming the sails for max performance is Maria Quintero and Paola Basello.
Aussie sailors grow up sailing fast boat. It is in their DNA. So it's no surprise that Andrew Team Australia is full of skiff and foiling experience. They and us have high expectations. On the wheel, it's Olivia Price and Laura Harding making the magic happen on trim. Annie Wilmot and Lisa Darmanin.
Team Germany has a star-studded lineup with plenty of experience and skills and are ready to get into today's racing here off the coast of Barcelona. On the wheels, today is Maru Scheel and Tina Lutz, and sitting behind them in the hot seats is a sail trimming duo of Louisa Vunser and Caroline Berner.
Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis Technologies, are by a long way the form team in this lineup. They're well resourced, well prepared, and boast an accomplished team sheet. Hot from a silver medal in Paris, Vilma Bobeck and Rebecca Netzler are fired up. Joining them, the experienced Julia Gross and Fast Cat Supremo, Ida Svensson.
Representing the Netherlands, Yacht Team Dutch Sail have a wealth of high-performance dinghy sailing experience and are ready to get stuck into today's racing. Steering the AC40 is Willem Offerman and Odile van Arnholt. Sitting behind in sail trim is Arnett Duits and Ariana van der Lustrecht.
So, 6 teams full of talent, all I imagine feeling both excited to get going and the pressure to deliver. Barcelona is enjoying the show and the conditions are looking reasonable for their debut on the America's Cup stage. It's light now, but fingers crossed, we're expecting a building southerly sea breeze, which should settle between 9-10 knots. But currently, as you can see, it is a little light for foiling, only between 3 and 8 knots. But we are optimistic. And if you've been following the Cup racing over the last month, you'll know that, you know, it's a real venue for a smart sailor, and it's rarely straightforward. But to help us watching to see the opportunities, we have the helping hand of technology with Windsight IQ, giving us a reliable picture of real-time wind. So, optimistic, it's going to be good. We just need to be patient.
Yes, patience is the key to the start of day 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup, the invited teams. We are in a wait and see mode at the moment. You can see our wind trend. It's got to be above 7.5 knots consistently at the top end and the bottom end. The green and white lines dictating the top and the bottom end. So it's going to be just a day, well, no, should I say just a moment, because we saw yesterday we had a slight delay and the wind turned, and that brought us some thrilling racing.
Well, the good news is the wind now is in the right direction. It's round at 200, and we've had reports from the airport, which is to the south, that it's in at 9 or 10 knots. So, yeah, we're hopeful.
Let's go on to the water with Pete Lester, former America's Cup tactician. Pete, nice day for you to sit and just peel your grapes.
Yeah, it is. Actually, I was on the back deck this time, so that's even better. But because it's nice out there, the sun's out, which is a good sign because that'll pull the breeze in. I can see the planes are actually landing to the south. That's also a good sign. I think it's trying to build. We're still below the minimum, but I think we'll get racing underway. Maybe a bit more delay, of course, but it looks promising.
Pete, when we were looking back at yesterday's racing, it was hard not to be impressed by just the way these sailors threw their AC40s around when the wind got up a bit.
Oh yeah, no, great little boats, and they're so manoeuvrable. And the other thing that stuck with me from yesterday is because the boats are smaller and lighter, how much they were affected by the seaway. And in fact, I think they're difficult boats to sail in that condition. And I thought the women did a fabulous job improving through the day. The learning curve of improvement is pretty steep at the moment.
Thanks, Pete. The other thing too that we discovered very quickly yesterday in those conditions, Glenn Ashby, trimmers had a lot of work to do.
They certainly did, and as we spoke to the helms yesterday on both the Athena Pathway team and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, the trimmers absolutely with their work cut out for them in those conditions, and very, very difficult to not only steer the boat but trimming to keep the boat locked in on roll and pitch. Really, really difficult job, and not easy conditions going at those sorts of speeds.
Yeah, a little reminder about the boats. They are one design. All the boats are exactly the same. The flying, the foil management is automated, but trimming of the sails, obviously crucial to get the balance correct.
For people that are just watching these AC40 and the America's Cup regattas for the first time, being patient is just a key part of sailing, correct? Because you're at the behest of Mother Nature.
You absolutely are, and the wind, you know, across the water surface on any sailing yacht is really providing the fuel, and that airflow around the sails on a high-performance yacht, both upwind and downwind. Like you see some of the older boats, they put up the big spinnakers and they're actually getting sort of blown along downwind. They'll only do, you know, a little bit less than wind speed, but high-performance sailing, it's all about apparent wind sailing, getting the airflow around the sails, and that's why you can actually, in fact, do 2, 3, 4, 5 times the boat speed of what the wind's actually blowing across the water.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this group race. They haven't had a huge amount of time in the boat, but it is brimming with talent and very successful women in the sailing world. So, you know, they're going to have to learn quick. These races are absolutely invaluable, and yeah, I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, that is the critical thing here, in the sense that we have gold medalists around the World Cup sailors, World Championship winners. They are everywhere in this fleet. The one thing you know, the America's Cup is a symbol of excellence, and today some of the world's best sailors are on the water in pursuit of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. Now, to sail these one-design, high-speed, high-performance AC40s to victory, 4 are going to need to think as one. Success comes down to the talent and the skill of the sailing team.
It's a big step for women to be given this opportunity.
There will never be a first one again. This is it.
I think it's a really good step in the right direction.
We really do have the best in the world racing against each other.
We provide no excuses for cup teams to not look at female sailors in the talent pool for the traditional cup teams in the future.
When I was a kid, I was always saying, oh my God, I want to do that, Luna Rossa America's Cup. I'm feeling very, very lucky and honored to be part of this team.
Good start by all of the fleet in the PUIG Women's America's Cup.
The boat coming across us on board.
The PUIG Women's America's Cup is a landmark event. In lots of sports, there is tokenism. We just don't believe in that.
I got it. Holding and rolling down.
We believe that people should be there under their own talent. But women don't have a natural pathway into the America's Cup.
This is a who's who of women's sailing.
The format of the women's event is we have 6 from the America's Cup teams and we have 6 from the invited teams, and they each race separately in separate pools, and then we take 3 winners from the America's Cup team side, 3 winners from the invited teams, and they come together for a set of fleet racing. And from there, the top 2 winners of the fleet race come together for a final match race, and it's whoever wins that takes all.
Because there's going to be teams that push it too far, and they'll end up on the sides. The high speeds that they're capable of makes split-second decisions critical.
There's no age limit for competing. We're seeing a lot of talent across all disciplines of sailing. We have a lot from the offshore field, we have a lot from the Olympics, and just fresh back from Paris, we have some Olympic medalists.
So it's a great day for sailing, but especially for women in sports.
And I really hope that we're going to inspire 5-year-old, 8-year-old girls to follow their dreams, and those little girls can say, hey, see, there's professional sailing. I can go and do that.
Keeping speed on to make this drive, boundary drive.
To win the first ever Women's America's Cup would be just unbelievable.
I think the moment is now, and it's just the momentum's going to carry.
Concord Pacific Racing, as you can see there. Now, we've just been advised by race management, we're actually trying to line up a 2:35 start. That's not too far away, a 2:35 start, considering it's only been a small time since we said the race is in a holding pattern. Stephen McIver joined by double Olympic gold medalist Shirley Robertson and three-time America's Cup winner Glenn Ashby. That's the Torres Glorias, a bit of a landmark. Some might call it a pickle. It's probably close to a pickle, but there's the most important thing you can see on the bottom left of your screen, that the trend over the last 5 minutes has picked up, and it's got to be above.
This is the race committee. We are intending to start race 1 at 14:35. You will be released to sail at 14:20.
So I tell you what we'll do is and just while we're waiting for that, let's take you back to what racing you can expect. And this takes you back to race number 1 yesterday from Group A, the America's Cup teams.
Lining up well, New Zealand, Great Britain.
Yep. 7th kill line. Any pressure?
There's some late starters here. By the look of this start, the Kiwis and the British look like they're going to be on time.
Maybe a bit longer.
They got stuck in bad air, dirty air on that right-hand side.
One coming up. One coming up, yeah. I'll get there.
History is made. Welcome to race 1 and the very first PUIG Women's America's Cup.
Okay, no one below.
Or down into. Okay, just getting settled here. Yeah. Above tax. Put on numbers.
Copy.
Big split
Great
here.
Britain had the best start there, just 13 metres back, 28 knots. Nicely executed by Hannah Mills.
Happy to go 15 to boundary.
Okay, taking in 3,
Tom's
2,
on board.
1, board down.
Emirates Team New Zealand.
And turning. In knots.
Board in 2.
Hi, mate.
1. And angle.
Remember, from these series of races, half will go through to meet half from the other groups. So it's so important to be consistent, to be in the top 3. Also, the pointing, the scoring system really rewards a podium place.
1 to build. Okay, on speed. Happy to press though, keep it fast.
Considering what happened on the water yesterday, it's quite ironic that the two leading teams at the moment on opening day are a team from Great Britain and one from New Zealand.
And also more top right.
Joe Allais, gold and silver medalist.
Yeah, I think it's very shifty and very patchy, so let's just, you know,
This is a sneak preview of possibly what's to come in another week or so's time. Both teams really, really locked in. Funnily enough, with identical boats in this fleet, very, very similar performance.
And you can imagine too that Athena Pathway will be buoyed at what happened yesterday with Ineos Britannia going through to the match. That will flow through the whole team.
Certainly will. There's the Italian team of Luna Rossa there. Over speed, 28 knots versus 23. They'll be able to sail up into a position of clear air.
They've done so well to come back. Had a really average start. They'll learn from that, but great pace here, moving up through the field.
They are absolutely ripping, the Italian team. Very, very, very good boat speed there compared to the Kiwis, the British to windward.
At the moment, we're warming one of them.
Like a lot higher ride height on board.
Happy to go for that.
The Italians versus the Kiwis there.
They will likely go on lay for right turn.
Pressure looks good, top right.
Getting up near the top, decisions around the ley line. Such a short track, this.
Low down there. And go a little more run.
Boundary in 10.
Deep build.
Red Bull Racing also their way back into this race as well after a slow maneuver restart.
Top 1, 17, 18.
Emirates Team New Zealand went under the ley line. We'll have more manoeuvres to do.
Espera, very slow. Okay. I'll lower the build.
Wow, you can really see that swell from that aerial shot, rolling from left to right across the field.
So So the boats
Now we can lead left here.
definitely surfing upwind on those swells. You can see there the swell basically coming from behind the boats and getting onto one of those swells. A big advantage. You can really gain some performance if you can surf those well.
The fleet really is starting to pack in at the top gate for the first time. This will be the completion of leg 1 of 4. And as we head into that top gate, leading the fleet will be Athena Pathway. Great Britain taking that final tack. They will be followed through by Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
No issues behind.
Oh, Luna Rossa off the foils. Slow manoeuvre. Having to stay slow to get round the mark.
They'll need to get down to about 90 degrees. True wind angle. The problem is now they're punching straight into that swell, so difficult to take off. They may have to actually tack or jibe to take off down the swell.
And the question is, can Emirates Team New Zealand now take advantage of that as they and American Magic complete the first leg, followed by the Swiss from Alingi Red Bull Racing, and still quite some way, Orient Express L'Oreal Racing.
Throw in 2, then go down. Bring away. And angle here. I have the gas of the boat in front.
Like a really big hole of wind up the top end of this course here. Shirley, a lot more pressure where the boats actually started. They've sailed up into some fairly light breeze. You can see the angles there. Everyone just back and forward across the course trying to stay on the foils in this slightly light patch. The boats that get away will sail into the back of that good breeze, which is the British team, and they should extend to a really, really solid lead if they can keep the boat forward.
Certainly patchy at the top of the course, and what's running through my mind is, with it being so patchy and the breeze on and off, is minimising manoeuvres, and I think that's what Great Britain have done so well. Beautiful start, and their manoeuvres have been kept to a minimum, and they've really benefited through that, and they have extended out to a pretty comfortable lead.
Yeah, Pete's right. I mean, great start and just kept it very simple, good execution. We're seeing at the top of the track, it is only between 6, 7, 8 knots, occasionally really, really patchy. But Athena Pathway extending into more pressure, 10 knots at the bottom of the course. This impressive lead is going to get bigger and bigger.
There's a little battle just brewing here, isn't there, between Alingi Red Bull Racing and American Magic for that potential, let's be very careful, potential final podium spot. I've got to say, though, I'm somewhat surprised. You'll excuse us for being somewhat surprised as what's going on with Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, who went 3 from 3 in practice racing.
Coming up down, down, 2, 1, board down. Need to build out of this, only 9.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, shortening the course to 1.2 nautical miles and shifting the axis to 210.
And Maxi's there. That's your angle for the Americans. That's your angle. Reducing Q. Okay, on this angle for the Americans. So just watch them behind you. They try to bring some traveler up, please. Yep, give me some view. Rolling down.
Really, really tight battle between those two boats. And as you mentioned before, Shirley, Rich just getting Rich up at the moment, just sailing down into that extra pressure. So that rubber band just getting stretched. Long as it doesn't break and come back and flick you in the eye. Very good shape.
Well, picking up the wheel on port side is Tash Bryant.
Looks like really nice pressure through here.
Athena Pathway, Great Britain, are making a statement to the rest of Group A in this opening race of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. They have got a leg on the fleet, so to speak, and they are just, well, they're just cruising beautifully right now as they complete leg number 2 of 4.
So that lighter air will eventually make its way down the course. So Kiwis need to pull this jibe off nice and cleanly. They're in a decent bit of pressure there. Well, they should be able to execute that no problem, but they'll be sailing back upwind into that slightly lighter pressure, so they'll be wanting to pick their timing to make sure they manoeuvre in the best pressure they possibly can to keep the boat on the foils. Will give themselves the best chance of doing that.
What's really interesting, and we had the, the advantage of seeing the practice racing, that both these boats had their issues in practice racing, and the improvement is off the charts, particularly for Emirates Team New Zealand, and the starting by Athena Pathway Great Britain. So it's 1 and 2, Athena Pathway Great Britain, then Emirates Team New Zealand.
And 2, 1, angle.
Right, seg 50 to boundary, 200.
Both the American team and the Swiss having to jibe to get to this bottom gate. So two very important manoeuvres, Shirley, coming up now.
It's going to be pretty hot out of it. Yep. Leaving trap high. Yep.
This is a great little dance between these two boats. As you can see on the bottom of your screen, at this point, it's American Magic in 3rd position and Lee Red Bull Racing in 4th position. Just keep your eye on the bottom of your screen, wherever you are. That'll tell you where your team is on the racecourse and their position.
Bit of a lefty angle. Nice. 198 on the breeze. Copy, big lefty then. Be patient, focus on our boat. Yeah. Let's try to power a bit, Tanya. Yeah, coming. Powering up. Okay.
All these teams are associated with cup teams. Some have worked more closely than others, but all of them, as we can see, are pretty well practiced and drilled. What they haven't had a lot of time to practice is racecraft in AC40s on these tiny, tiny courses. But as you said, Stephen, we will see that progress.
It will be, we've used this term before, but it will be vertical progression, and you'll see it quite simply in the results.
Stand by.
Back with the Athena Pathway, and not in a great deal of breeze, but doing really well to keep it flying, really joining the bits of pressure together.
Okay, just on in 10.
It was a big day for British sailing yesterday. British fans will be loving this. Hannah Mills and her team leading the way on race 1.
Right now, it's a case of everything they touch turns to gold. How good, huh?
Tash Bryant, Hannah Diamond on the port side, Hannah Diamond on aero trim there, and reflective goggles there of Tash Bryant. We just see how much wheel work in these swelly conditions that's needing to be done to keep the boat on track. A lot of trimming there. Sitting behind, keeping that heel locked in. Really important job by the trimmers to keep that heel angle constant. Keep the boat locked in. It's great to see Ben Ainsley down there this morning too, Shirley, cheering the women's team on.
I think he's allowed a day off.
Probably deserves one after yesterday, I think, Ben. Hopefully got breakfast in bed this morning and eggs on toast.
Well, according to Luke Parkinson, they weren't going back to work till Monday, so they've taken his advice.
Hopefully Luke made it home last night, knowing Parko. They all deserve a good rest. One more manoeuvre, attacking in pressure, Athena Pathway, so that's the right place to tack, right to meet with that puff. Best chance to stay on the foils.
Watching the boats come upwind, what's interesting is how hard it is on starboard as we look at an Athena Pathway just tack. Because of the seaway, you're punching straight into the waves coming out on starboard. And it's just on that starboard tack that you're able to touch down. A little bit more pressure at the top of the course this time.
Yeah, it looks okay. We probably just want to get
Athena
out there a bit
Pathway,
early.
Great Britain will lead the fleet into the final downwind leg, and that will be the homebound run. Oh, just a little bit of a tiny wobble, then they get their AC40 back up and falling beautiful. This is an outstanding performance in these conditions.
It's a great shot from the front there. You can see how tricky those waves are. You've got to get the timing so right, so accurate.
Race looks pretty similar across the board.
Saskia Clark sitting behind Hannah Mills. Hannah on the steering wheel, Saskia there on sail control.
Saskia was Hannah's crew to a gold and a silver medal. Silver in London, gold in Rio. Trusted team.
They know each other really, really well.
19, 20.
Experience altogether. A lot of experience on board this Kiwi boat as well. Sailing over to that pressure, just a little bit over ley line, but just doing everything they can to keep the boat on the foils. All about staying on the foils in these light, shifty conditions. Sometimes sailing a little bit of extra distance is what's needed to make sure you execute the manoeuvre and keep the boat foiling.
Emirates Team New Zealand holding position 2. That's worth 7 points if they maintain that position by the end of the race. And these could be important points as the racing goes on. Remember, each group has 8 fleet races.
On a big touchdown by the US team. They've had a big wobble out on that right-hand side of the course upwind, and that will be a huge loss. The American Magic team are really struggle in this light patch to get refoiling. Switzerland absolutely boosting and possibly taking the right turn if they can lay that. That's a massive, massive shutdown for the US team. Unfortunate.
Just having another look at this manoeuvre.
Don't have it.
Just running out of horsepower from the wind in that case, so not much you can do when you sail into a hole. You just can't keep the boat up to speed. The Italians also potentially in a passing opportunity with the American team.
But it's opened the gate for Alingi Red Bull Racing. They had a lovely battle going downwind, and they literally were going through that bottom gate for the final time, neck and neck. But now, one moment, we say it all the time, one moment, and it will be costly. But my gosh, look at the lead that Athena Pathway, Great Britain, has on Emirates Team New Zealand.
Well, you don't get points for distance. the Kiwis just need to hang in here. Get second spot and a ton of points.
20 seconds off.
Yeah, impressive first day performance from Hannah Mills. Double gold, silver medalist. Saskia Clark behind her.
Hannah.
I quite want to dive before this nasty wave from this lovely camera boat. On my board down in 3, 2, 1, board down.
I will. Board exit. Board up. Board way up.
We've been here in Barcelona since early summer, and you can tell, well practiced, confident crew.
It's been a statement performance by Athena Pathway Great Britain in Group A of the opening day of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. They have done a magnificent job, and they will bank 10 points. They top the fleet with 3 races to go today. And finish it in the women's style.
Well, you might as well get the postcard photo on your first race with a bit of spray. Great effort, Athena Pathway.
Brilliant start by Athena Pathway Great Britain. They finished the day in 2nd position behind Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Okay, we're getting close to racing. Let's take a look at the ghost boat, Shirley.
Well, the good news is that there is breeze, but look at it, lots of holes. It is going to be about stringing your maneuvers together at the right time. We're currently looking at the ghost boat. It is liking the shore side, the city side, the right-hand side of the track, looking upwind. So I would imagine we'll see a fight to get over there, but I think anything could happen. Big holes in the breeze as this thermal wind establishes itself.
So we are counting down. It's inside 2 minutes to start in race 1, Group B of the inaugural PUIG Women's America's Cup. So, lots of chatter already on the boats. They know what's online here. You've got to finish in the top 3, and this is where it all begins.
It's just that tricky wind range, isn't there? Particularly in the pre-starts when they're all zooming back and forward. Really important not to sail in gas. Stay on the foils.
This is really the moment now where you have to keep the boat airborne, and Team Germany there off the foils. Basically, out the back of each of these boats in these light air conditions with big, deep, powerful sails, you are bending the air a lot, and that vortex trail, that dirty air trail, floats downwind, and as you sail through that, it's like sailing through
Quite a smart approach here by the Australians, above the line and lovely clear air. Similarly, the Canadians, but they've one more manoeuvre to do to get back into the box and execute that start.
The next move, we're going to be tacking in about 15. Stand by. Up 5, up 5, up 5.
Dutch team heading back, leading the charge. Look quite nice this, tidy.
Race komt hij bij is geworden. Copy. Okay, 5 stop, kom bijna aan de wind. Board coming up, charging, coming up in 2.
Australians executing their tack, staying on the foils. They'll get off the line. Swedes and the Dutch.
Time to go racing. Group B, race 1 in the PUIG Women's America's Cup.
This is the umpires. Germany restart penalty, Canada restart penalty.
Goed gedaan, here we go. Coming up. Oké, we gaan geen tag, we gaan wel heel goed. We gaan door tot boundary. Copy. Oké, happy. Ziet eruit als een 3-tag upwind.
The Spanish team first across the line, but lacking pace.
Hoe lang boundary?
Nice execution by the Swedish.
Yep, 35 tot boundary.
But it is Odile van Anout from the Netherlands charging forward, looking for the next puff of wind to get across.
Niet de tag, dan hebben we 2 tag upwind. Kleine beeld hier zo. Cross.
Gold medalist from Paris.
Oké, copy, tagging in 10. Building. Building voor Smit. Komt hij al, zijn goed. Oké. Circle. Stand by in 2, 1, board down. And possible turn. Turning. Normal mode. Okay. Board down, up. Holding here.
Lovely start by the Dutch. What I'm looking out the window, just initially it looks like the wind might be building from this left-hand side, and we've seen that on other days here when we get this building sea breeze. The left plays initially, but the long-term game it will be in the right as the sea breeze establishes itself.
We watched this Dutch team in practice a few days ago. It looks a completely different outfit today. Cam comms, trimming well. Big cross coming up for them. They must give way to the Spanish.
I think potentially clear ahead there, and do Team Australia and Sail Team Barcelona pretty much level pegging on this upwind, looking like they're sailing into lighter breeze potentially up the top of the course. So all teams really having to keep their eyes peeled and make sure they're executing these manoeuvres in the maximum pressure possible. So they've got full power in the sails to re-accelerate out of those manoeuvres.
You're absolutely right, Glenn. At the top of the course, there's only 7, 8 knots, and add a bit of gas to that, and it is treacherous.
We're going the whole way here.
Sail Team Barcelona just living off the hip of Team Australia. A lot of bent air. Sail Team Barcelona just a little header. Not as much airflow around those sails.
This is the race committee. We are moving the leeward gate, shortening the course to 1 nautical mile.
Turning. We build out of here. Coming down, O'Neill, coming down. Rescue. Yeah. No higher for now, no higher. Kom maar down. Coming down. Nog attack. Copy.
Australian team on the right of screen entering the boundary. They will have right of way to be able to tack at their leisure, and Sail Team Barcelona have to be clear. They'll tack as well. Nice tack on board both boats. Australians potentially a nice little left-hand shift there. Dutch team wound up to speed now as well.
Now we've crossed 2 boats. Dutch are on the far side. They will be strong. Are you going to make this height then, Annie?
It's so light at the top of the track.
We're just crossing the Dutch, but I'm not
so important to be able to foil round that top gate and get out of this, get into that pressure at the top of the screen.
Just crossing.
Crucial moment in this race.
Certainly is. Laura Harding, Wilmot on board.
Yeah, let's go. 2, 4 down, all clear. No exit. Stern in 5, they're coming with us.
Australians will just sail straight over the top. Oh, it's a big call by the Dutch to tack there. This is going to be a very interesting intersection. Sail Team Barcelona having to keep clear of the Dutch. Give them room.
Racing that we were expecting and racing that we are getting in the opening race at Group B. Another tight intersection between Sweden and Concord Pacific Racing. Wow, right in front of them. But the other encouraging thing too, AC Team Germany is over the start line.
Angle, 24, 9 targets. In a left shift here. Copy. 180. Turning down. Longer starboard. Copy. Having a push.
2 boats on the left-hand side heading down that left boundary, and looking down, that's the right-hand boundary. We've got Sweden and the Canadians to windward. I think there's still a little bit more pressure on the left. Sweden, what I'm looking for from them, they're the most favoured group of the invited teams. Let's just see if they can move through the field. They're caught back there a little bit at the moment, but the strong teams can make gains, and that is so important to accumulate as many points as you can, of course, and the hard points are the ones when you're back and you need to gain positions. Sweden now have jibed and they're heading back to the middle of the course.
We expected this, didn't we, from Andu Team Australia. Bit untidy in practice, but today when it matters, they have come out firing.
Olivia Price sitting behind her, Lisa Darmanin on trim. Really nice
Silver
job.
medalists, they know how to deliver.
Little light patch there, they'll be needing to keep the boat ripping to get it through airborne.
Pressure is slowly going. We're fine. 2, 1,
Olivia Price handing over to Laura Harding, port side, trimming for her, Annie Wilmot.
So just being able to rebuild their apparent wind speed to get round the bow of locals of Sail Team Barcelona. In second position.
Aún no.
Still tight this race.
Vale. En breves, Vale, genera
With some
un
wobbly,
board down.
patchy conditions at the bottom end of this course.
Board up. Todo lo que se pueda caer, mejor.
Taking the helm, Neas, Ballister.
O sea, tengo mucha escura. Tengo que ir para abajo, soltar mayor.
Right back in this.
Os da para mirar la presión.
Picking up more pressure on the left-hand side at the bottom.
Cruce con Australia. Máxima velocidad, importante. Okay, we don't need to sail extra distance here, girls. We're doing a right-hand turn.
So completing the halfway mark, leg 2 of 4, and it's the Sail Team Barcelona representing Spain that will lead this very tight fleet at the bottom gate for the first time. There is not much in this, and I can't wait to see what it's like at the end of leg 4. Andu Team Australia currently in second position, and then the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis. That will follow them through, followed by Concord Pacific Racing. Yacht Team Dutch sail.
Pressing here.
And
24 target.
AC Team Germany still yet to make the top gate for the first time.
Angle. Nice rounding. Right, Sweden tacks off. Yeah, keeping it fast here. Yep.
These next tacks by all the teams really, really critical in this light air condition, so a little bit of dirty air to deal with. Sailing back up into that disturbed airflow, the boats converging on the bottom. Very important to keep the boat foiling here. Australians really struggling to build speed to get their tack off. Need to be doing 25s or 26s. Port manoeuvre.
Only 6 or 7 knots of wind at the bottom. We got all a bit excited when the new breeze came in at 10 knots.
Up now, slow. Yep.
See how wide the angles are on all the teams to keep on the foils almost facing each other across the width of the course. Pressure move on Concord Pacific Racing, and they are going to touch down.
Let's go 10 knots. All right. Board's just really slow up here.
Apart from the Swedish team, all these teams have just had a handful of days on this boat, and it's been pretty impressive. Obviously, they've had time in the simulator.
Boundary penalty, Netherlands.
But they have had time in the simulator. They're familiar with the setup of the boat, but things you can't practice in a simulator is flying, is getting going again, and it's a tough day.
And the
Netherlands penalty clear.
6.5 to 8 knots at the top gate at the moment, so it's all going to be about keeping the boat foiling and executing your tacks. Straight line sailing, you can sail around that 20 knot mark, but to pull off a manoeuvre you need to accelerate to around 24, 25 knots of boat speed as a minimum. Just on the edge there, lovely tack in light air from the locals. Sylvia Maas, very, very experienced, along with her fellow crew members. Yes, Pallister, Trimmers, Maria Quintero and Paula Cello, powering up those little twin skin mains. Doing a great job.
No one knows these waters better than Sylvia Maas, the starboard helm, 470 world champion. Spent her entire life working out how to sail well in Barcelona.
Getting stronger on the Swedish by pressing. Just sailing a higher boat. 23 targets. Target 23 seconds.
The Australians will have to go all the way to boundary here to have the ability to tack and have right of way. The Swedish potentially tacking a little earlier.
In zone in 5. Finish have gone early. Setting up. 2, 1. Board. Burning. 2, 1.
Australians have good pressure there. Great speed going into that manoeuvre.
Oh, on a wobbly jibe there by Team Germany. Still heading downwind. Spanish top left of screen managed to pull off a lovely tack. That light air on that far side.
Sorry, the Spanish coming across on the other tack.
All boats foiling, top 3 positions.
Let me know if we need to do anything. Pressing. Yep. Go lower here, we've got the Germans. Copy. Okay, we're going to be doing a duck here. It's going to be my wheel. Your wheel now. My wheel now. Pressing. Yep.
Helmsman Olivia Price painting the picture for us. Silver medalist from London 2012.
Nice dip there. Good comms, just focusing on the boat speed and the performance.
Still 20 seconds sailing time. Continue, go fast.
Didn't you give them a bit of advice, Glenn?
Just had a little coffee yesterday, but I don't think there was much I could do, to be honest, Shirley. They're all doing a great job. Just moral support from my side.
As they come into this top gate to complete the 3rd leg of 4, they're sailing on knife-edge conditions, but they're certainly delivering. And at this point in time, you just see a lead change at the top as Andu Team Australia have they got enough speed out of that tack to maintain that lead at the top gate? They do have the right of way. That's what the green circle tells us. They'll go to the gate that you can see in the foreground of your screen, and boy, there's nothing in this.
Spanish did well, threaded the needle there.
So as we see it, as it stands, we see the lead pop back to Sail Team Barcelona, followed by Andu Team Australia, then the Swedish challenge powered by Artemis. It could be any one of these three at the finish.
Oh, actually matching their drive. Yeah, I think so. Maybe even initiate it a little bit. Yeah. One. 9 knots. Turning. 1, 2, 1. Board up. They've gone with. Okay. Building hard, Annie. Yep. Rolling now.
Two boats, Andu Team Australia and the Swedish team are on the, looking downwind on the right-hand side. It does look quite good pressure out on that right. It has right through this race. At some stage, you've got to believe on this downwind leg that left side could come strong, because that will be the trend. And I'd be looking at the local knowledge of the Spanish team. They are locals, they know the conditions. Have they picked up this transition perfectly? It certainly looks like it.
Right away, Yacht is with the Spanish. I'd agree with Peter, if you're going to follow one boat, it is Sylvia Mass on her home track here at the first Women's America's Cup. She knows where she's going.
Just hold. Happy to go now? Whenever you want.
Small gains to the Spanish taking that right turn. They didn't really have any options at the top. Had to take that turn, but managed to sail in clean air right the way down through there. So, fourth jibe for Andu Team Australia. Keep the boat on the foils nicely, which they do. Have the Swedish breathing down their neck, so
more pressure in 10.
Those two teams will be
29 targets. Keep finishing going with.
fighting it out. The Spanish now in a lot slightly lighter.
Or maybe that's the German. Can't tell. Germans. Copy.
Part of the course.
I can roll down. I would love to. Take it. Hand under for you.
That jib on. Sail Team Barcelona absolutely deep and stood.
Coming up. Really light
Max
headache.
power.
I need power. Yeah.
Getting light for all three teams. Such a good battle.
I love that call. I need power. I need power.
The Australians here really having to thread the eye of the needle here. Very, very important manoeuvres for all these teams. Whoever can keep foiling here. Next manoeuvre.
Keep speed up and drive. Cross
Win
rudders.
the race.
Yep. High, Andrew in 10. Copy. Going forward in 2, 1. Fast turn here. Up. Cross. 2, 1. What up?
Powering up.
Oh, no!
Up to 70. Up to 70. Yep.
Just a click blade on the trim for the roll when the board came out. Andu Team Australia.
That's all I've got. East jib. We're 8 knots boat speed. Yep. Coming up.
Swedes and Sail Team Barcelona. Can they pull their manoeuvres off as well, I think? Just hanging on there. Sail Team Barcelona. Swedish also just staying on their foils as well.
Spanish team might just lay this if the breeze stays. If not, it's a difficult manoeuvre. 6 knots of wind at the bottom of the track here.
It feels like a bit of deja vu. If you remember the opening race of Group B in the Unicredit Youth America's Cup, it was Sail Team Barcelona that picked up the win. I won't jump too soon because there's a little bit to go.
Yeah, you can tell how light it is. They're currently just going back and forward across the course. Need a little bit extra to get to the finish. Currently steering Sylvia Mass, trimming for her. Maria Cantero.
Down to 23 knots of boat speed, almost at 90 degrees true wind angle. So the Spanish team doing everything they can to build speed to try and get this next manoeuvre in. 10 potentially teams further behind, they stay foiling and pull their manoeuvres off, they could come back past these.
Oh, we could see how light it was, couldn't we, from that aerial shot, down to 5 knots at the start.
Here we go, here we go.
Lost the rudder. And
That's a touchdown by Spain. They came over here to the right-hand side. They were quiet, minimum boat speed, and they've touched down. The next key moment will be, can the Swedes pull off their foiling job?
The Swedes have jibed, still got the pace, charging to the finish.
They have been just sitting in wait.
One more jibe to finish line.
The Swedish challenge powered by Artemis. They've just been taking their time, allowing every other team to do what they have to do, but they still are on the edge, but they look like they're in pretty good shape right now, starting to run 23, 24 knots, heading towards the finish line.
Straight ahead, right? We're the only ones on the foil, happy to say, between the Spanish and the finish line. Yeah, so stay fast in this one.
Yeah, one more jibe
Are we
for
going to make it if we
the
just
Swedish
soak down?
team.
If we don't make it, no, we're not going to soak down.
Apparently good pace.
so
Diving in
Swedes will just
as much as possible.
milk it as much as they can, do a nice big coast with their foils, knowing that they will come off their foils as well, but they'll basically coast into displacement, and they will have their nose in front.
Oh, we can just soak down here, no problem.
The Canadians further back in the field are the only boat on their foils.
The Swedish challenge, just like Glenn Ashby said, they did that final jibe and coast across the finish line, and out of the pack they take win number 1 in Group B of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. Happy days if you're a Swedish supporter waiting for Sail Team Barcelona to now get themselves, and also in displacement mode, get themselves across line. How about that for sailing on day number 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup? People in soaking it up, and why wouldn't you in the race village? Here comes Sail Team Barcelona. They will just get across the line and bank 7 points, and that's 7 points even at this stage. Valuable if you can continue through. So Sail Team Barcelona had their moment, one last jibe, and they got off. Oh, wow. Moments, Shirley, moments.
Well, not a pretty finish for the Spanish, but who cares? They get the points, and a full-on smash and grab from the Swedish challenge, waiting and waiting to make their move. They raced well.
There's pick 4, the Canadians keeping the boat on the foils, coming from well back, staying on the foils, and they will be absolutely gobbling up their competition. There's nothing you can do when you're off the foils watching someone come downwind who are foiling. They'll go through the lulls a little better. Once they're up on the foils, about a knot and a half less true wind speed needed once they're up on the foils, so they could potentially get some valuable points here, finishing in 3rd position. They can make it down to the finish as well before the race time's out.
Steering on the port side, Ali Ten Hove. Skiff Olympian.
On you. Right, stand by. 2, 1, board down. Races drop, so big turn, Moira. Yep. Turning. Hold 2 boards on exit.
Picking it up on starboard. Skipper Isabella Berthold.
Big pump here, guys. 15 knots. Big pump, big pump. Big pump, board up, board up. Just try to save it. Big pump here.
Just not quite enough there to keep the boat foiling. What they need to do now, though, they need to be smart, realising they're not going to retake off and put the boat into downwind displacement mode.
Finish. Do we go displacement and match and do? Yeah, I think so.
It's a good call.
1 person down.
They've only got about 2.5 or 3 minutes to get to that finish line position. Otherwise, the race will be timed out, and that goes back to the previous gate for their finishing position. So they'll be hoping to get that 3rd place finish. Otherwise, they'll end up with a 5th.
You have to cross the line within 5 minutes of the first boat that finishes.
And to really put it in downwind mode now.
Yeah, copy. It looks like finish line is below us there. What's wind speed right now? Getting protest here. 6 knots. Next two. They are coming up at you. You should be clear in 5. That's coming on. Yep.
Canadians pressing the protest button,
Like left. And roll
hoping
if
that
you need to.
Australia will
Road
come
speed
up. Windward
seems
boat,
good.
they must keep clear.
Keep taking roll. Really nice, really nice. Keep that boat speed.
The important in these displacement conditions to try and just get the boat nice and balanced so you're not picking up too much wetted surface area. Sails
See if we can get any depth on them.
right angle to the wind.
Knots here.
Hull
Let's
as
just
low a
displace
drag
through.
as you possibly
I'm
can.
just saying, like, we
Painful
can probably
sailing,
increase speed.
these
Yeah,
boats,
agree
but
with that pump on. Yeah.
points are the points.
Really good kills. And roll with that if you want. Yeah, copy. I think we need to keep going. Can't see the mark. Liv, you got Tracy. Yeah, I got it. We're still a while away. Copy. Australia? Yeah, forward up. They're going forward up. Yeah. I can work down and lower here. You get through on this tack.
So less than
Touching
1
them
minute
the whole time.
before this race times out.
Wait up. So you can get a little lower. Copy. That windward feels really good, I think. Okay. Great. Right there. Okay.
We tense these moments.
They're not far from the finish, but they've probably only got, I'm only guessing here, but probably around 30 seconds or so before this race times out. So
Now coming higher, let's match.
Just a few seconds left to go. We can see it on the clock, on the left-hand side of the screen.
the results will be taken from the last upwind gate. So big gains by the Canadians, but they'll be relegated.
This is the race committee. Race 1 is stopped.
So there you have it, it's timed out, and Australia will, thankfully for them, pick up 5 points for finishing third. There was a moment there when they were going to be overrun by the Canadians, but not so, and they will pick up the 3 points. So they can breathe a sigh of relief. But we do have our winners in race number 1 of Group B, and that's the Swedish team, the Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis. And they just sat and wait. They just sat in wait. Followed by Sailtoon Barcelona, who are on the cusp of winning. And that last chive, oh dear, where did the wind go? Andu Team Australia, Concord Pacific Racing, Yayo Team Dutch Sail, and Team Germany. And let's go on board the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis. We'll talk to both helms. We'll start with Julia. Julia, congratulations. We were just saying you sat back and just waited.
Yes, that is exactly what we did. We're happy to come away with the winner at that race for sure. But it was all about staying on the polster in the end.
Yeah, I agree. It was a tricky race. It didn't start out so well, but yeah, we're happy that we managed to stay foiling and just waited for our opportunity. And yeah, quite happy to come away with that win.
Vilma, I mean, you have had more time in the boat than the other teams, and we could see that as it got trickier and trickier. You know, how tricky is it when the wind is between 6 and 8 knots? How hard is that to coordinate?
Yeah, it is hard, and it's really tricky when it's getting marginal, just staying on the foils, especially with the boundaries. Sometimes we really have to put in a maneuver, but we don't have the speed for it, so that makes it, yeah, it puts it to an edge. But yeah, we're happy with the training hours. It's for sure helped us out. But yeah, it's also tricky with all the gas from the boats and the other boats, and it's hard to plan ahead for those kind of things. So yeah, we're happy.
Julia, in these early racing, you know, you only need to finish in the top 3. What's your strategy? How are you approaching it?
We're trying to win every race. That's our approach. We have been sailing a lot in this boat, and we're super happy that we have that. And I mean, we're 4 people on the boat, so it's quite tricky to coordinate 4 people when it's getting this light. Everyone has to be on their toes with everything. We're super happy to just be racing in this boat. It's pretty cool.
Vilma, just a thought on pressure, because in the practice racing, the Swedish Challenge was incredibly strong, 3 from 3. Do you feel that now coming into the actual competition racing, or do you use that as encouragement?
I would say we would also put a lot of pressure on ourselves within our team training all summer. So we don't feel so much enhanced pressure now going into the regatta, but we're going in it to win it. So that for sure adds some pressure, but we're just trying to execute it as well as possible, but also pick up the learnings from every race and excel throughout the regatta. So we're happy for the next couple of races.
Oh, well, nice execution. Congratulations on a win in race 1.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we started in quite good pressure. Great start by the Dutch. The Swedish off the middle of the line, punched out
Germany
and with
restart
pace.
Penalty, Canada restart penalty.
It was all on at gate 1. Nice job by the Australians. Rounded, clean air, fast, leading the charge, and a tight battle behind them between the Dutch and the home team from Spain. By gate 4, the Spanish team had made their move. Just fell off the foil. And it was the experienced outfit. The Swedish challenge nailed very slowly the finish and took the win. Well, let's have a look at one of the key moments. Tight rounding for Netherlands and Spain at gate 1, with the Dutch team being the inside boat and right of way. And Spain got too close, failing to keep clear, but luckily for them, no penalty, as the umpires decided that the protest from Team Yacht Dutch sail didn't come quickly enough. So lucky escape for the Spanish team.
Take a look at some of the data here on board. That average speed, almost a knot more from Artemis Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis Technologies, over their nearest finisher behind them, Sail Team Barcelona. 15 manoeuvres though, doing a few more manoeuvres, but staying foiling in the end was what got them the race win.
Sweden take race number 1, and the level of talent in that squad is outstanding. They came back from the Olympics with 2 silver medals, and with support from other technologies, you know they are definitely a team to watch.
So it's really cool to be a part of the first Women's America's Cup ever. I think it's a really good step in the right direction, and getting us women into the professional side of sailing and actually showing what we can do.
We are so excited. We've been working so hard for this. It's going to be tough. We are prepared for that.
I don't think the other teams view us as the biggest threat, maybe. I think we can be a bit of a wild card going into this campaign. Considering the support we have from Artemis, I think maybe they should look out a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're here, which is basically, on the back of the Artemis Racing America's Cup Challenges in 2013 and 2017. And then leading on from that, Artemis Technologies was born, where they retained a lot of their key designers and really worked towards decarbonising the maritime industry. And, where we fall into place is Artemis Technologies was keen to kind of harbour the next generation and the next bit of talent to come out of Sweden and give back to the sport in Sweden. And so we're in a very fortunate position here to be here in Barcelona with an AC40, the full power of Artemis Technologies behind us, supporting us in a technical role.
So I have Vilma in front of me. She's my starboard helm. She just won the silver at the Olympics. in the 49er FX?
Yeah, so in Paris we had a challenging week, but we managed to catch a silver medal and we're very proud and happy about that. And Lovisa also brought in a bronze medal, so coming in here with 2 medals for the team, it's bringing some good energy, I think, to the squad that's been here all summer and yeah, just pushing us forward.
We've been growing up together, sailing against each other, competing against each other, but it's really cool that we're now in the same boat. So I come from the NACRA 17, so the other girls have been in the FX, so we are used to sailing with one more person at least.
It puts a lot of pressure on the communication and the trust within the boat, because for the first time I can't see half the course. And probably most of the other boats. And the same thing for the other side.
Yeah, you need to be on the same page. So you need to be good at painting the picture for the other side, and that you are able to trust the other one when it's the right time to switch.
It's a bit new in the beginning, but once we get into it, it's actually getting simpler and simpler. But don't tell the other teams.
We are having high expectations on ourselves, and we're ready to race.
Having high-speed sessions in their practice race, with that into high speed today, the Swedish Challenge. They've taken race 1 in Group B of the inaugural PUIG Women's America's Cup. They've done the job and picked up 10 big points. Now, I can tell you right now, we're in a sit and wait moment because the wind has just disappeared for the moment. It is day number 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup, and that boat there, that is the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis, has quite simply done what everybody's expecting them to do, but they had to work themselves out of the pack, Shirley.
I loved it when we just spoke to them and Vilma said, we are in this to win it. And they certainly laid a marker down in that race. You know, even with not the best early approach to the race, they came back and could deliver in what was really tough conditions.
Yeah, and you've got to love a team that comes out and says, this is what we want to do, because it tells everybody about confidence and where we're at. Where we are at right now is in basically a holding pattern again, because Mother Nature's decided on this Sunday to play games with us a little bit. As you can see, there is the race management boat. Peter Lester on the water. Just give us your take on what the weather is doing from where you sit.
It's still trying to build. I think this cloud cover, there's a bit of, it's like haze, and it's a hot day for autumn here in Barcelona. And with that, we've got this haze over the city, over the racetrack, and that seems to having an effect on the wind. Looking up the course, it does look like it's trying to build again. Even if it builds, it's going to be right at the bottom end.
Okay, thanks, Pete. While we are waiting for this fleet to race in Group B, let's go back to yesterday, which was Group A racing. We'll take you to a goodie, but they're all goodies. Race number 3.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling is complete, and this race is live.
So we're good to go. Race 3 in Group A, the America's Cup races tomorrow. It's the invited teams, but right now we still have 2 races to get in here. And it will be Athena Pathway Great Britain who are leading the pack, but just by 2 points from Luna Rossa Prada Pro. Let's get ready.
This is going to be full on, this race. Really bumpy sea state and some good breeze, so we are going to see some fantastic action. The AC40s right on the edge. Make sure your goggle straps done up tight for this one. They are going to be seeing some water over the deck at some point of this race, each of the teams.
The Kiwi team, the French and the USA really need to start to get some points on the table.
Luna Rossa Prada Prali off the foils at the moment, but plenty of pressure to build there and get on the foil, so we'll see them build and take off, controlling their time on distance, so they should be absolutely no problems.
A different form to this pre-start. I guess all the teams would have had time to chat to their coaches, work out a plan, all coming from above the start box.
There's still plenty of time to kill before this start. The object of the game is to try and put yourself in a position in a fleet race where you have a boat speed advantage over your opponents off the start line and the ability sail the angle that you need to sail for best performance and not get held up or dictated to by any of the other boats around you. So jockeying for position, very, very important in a fleet race start.
Left-hand side of the track looks really promising. We might see them trying to gain control there. Italians up and charging back to the start line.
Redoing Tracy. Vedi le barche? Internal in front.
Athena Pathway tacking back, final approach. Checking their time and distance.
3, 2, 1, coming up. 2, 1, button. And turning.
5 boats all locked together. This is going to be the tightest start yet.
This is the umpire's penalty USA relative to France.
So it's rush hour at the start, ahead of race number 3 in the PUIG Women's America's Cup, and we are racing.
Good start by Athena Pathway, Hannah Mills. They've practiced that a few times.
Shift average, 15 knots.
Impressive extension on the fleet.
Make a touch more, Ken.
Breeze coming on in 2.
The immersion's good there, Tam.
Team New Zealand.
42 bound.
Windward end of the line, getting off the line relatively cleanly. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli a few seconds late to that start.
Okay, team.
Not getting their time on distance from that far side like they'd like to. They're still in the race. A big battle now. Clear air. This next tack.
American Magic got a penalty for a windward lured situation in that pre-start. They must go back.
Massive touchdown by Malingi Red Bull Racing. They will lose valuable metres in this early stages.
Okay, stand by. Put down in 2. 1, put down. Your wheel, no issue.
We've seen throughout this racing, whether it's the Senior Cup or the Youth America's Cup, how crucial getting off the start line is. Oh, big crash down for Lingy Red Bull Racing.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli digging their way back through the fleet after a poor start, so they'll be wanting to charge their way through. Big dip there by the Swiss around the back of the Italians. And the Italians sort of out of phase with the rest of the fleet, so punching through some dirty air compared to the rest of the fleet. They'll just need to sail a clean race to get back into this. Top 3, really close race in the top half of this first beat. Oh, no, Express Loyal Racing punching it out of the back of a wave, out of that tack as well. They'll be paying an 8 to 12 boat length penalty in the rebuild there.
Manoeuvres are hard in these waves. Needs real coordination between the 2 helmsmen and the trimmers, keeping the power on, picking your moment.
Well, the challenge has changed now, hasn't it, from the first 2 races?
Very, very different breeze conditions. Sea state getting up now as well, so as this breeze keeps kicking in.
A little touchdown for Athena. Did well just to pick it up again, power on.
Touch and go, not a complete disaster in these upper range conditions. 16 knots now coming into the top of the course, so some really, really exciting conditions. Not easy, but Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli just crossing French team.
Italians, good shift on that right-hand side. Back in the game.
Yeah, out of phase, and now challenging for the lead, so they are the giveaway boat compared to Emirates Team New Zealand. They'll duck in behind there, but snaking their way back through the fleet from being last off the line to be now in 3rd position and absolutely charging.
Athena Pathway, Great Britain. Away they go, lead the fleet. They know what to do here. Close intersection between Emirates Team New Zealand and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. The fleet is tight at this point.
22 boundary.
Orient Express, L'Oreal Racing go through in 4th position. Then it's American Magic who had that boat-on-boat penalty, but they're still in the hunt. It's rough. It's rough out there.
Yep, good.
Only 13 knots of wind speed, but waves much bigger than the breeze.
This is the umpire's penalty New Zealand relative Italy, and penalty clear.
I've got some loose moments on board. Athena Pathway in this jibe is not over yet. Got to get it locked in there. That was a very, very close moment to a big foil ventilation as they went into that jibe. So nice job to just hang on to it. And Emil Saskia Clark handing over
This is the
to
umpire's
Tash Bryant.
boundary penalty GBR.
Athena Pathway miles over the boundary.
Oh, and a big touchdown, Athena Pathway. Oh, they've really got the plough attached to the front of that boat.
Just can't really get locked in this run.
Huge gains to the Italian team as the Kiwis and the French come charging in from that other gate right-hand turn at the top. So fierce battle. All about sailing well and locking in, doing your job accurately on the boat.
This is what we wanted to see. It's such a good battle.
Orient Express, L'Oreal Racing. A brilliant job. Just off the hip there of Emirates Team New Zealand.
Great breeze all the way down the track. It is all about sending it, pulling off those maneuvers. Currently nearly doing 40 knots in these little boats. Close here between the French, the Kiwis.
Anyway, from here.
We're down at 2, we're down, the French go.
Simo jibes on board these two boats, so nothing in it. Oh, the Kiwis have got a bit on here.
Hold. Okay, happy.
Happy order.
Well saved, come heads.
And away from here.
Joale picking up the wheel.
This is race 3 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup, and it is all on in stronger conditions, leading the fleet to the bottom gate for the first time. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, they complete again. Rush hour at the bottom.
Oh, massive move by Emirates Team New Zealand inside. Really late call. Really tight racing.
Keep your eye on the bottom of your screen. There are the positions. Luna Rossa, Orient Express, L'Oreal Racing, Emirates Team New Zealand, Athena Pathways, who had to give up space and time on that penalty. American Magic and Alingi Red Bull Racing. They're all around and up on leg number 3 of 4.
Beautiful tack on board Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
Luna Rossa were late getting off the line. They touched down in that last minute 30 before the start, but they have shown some serious good boat handling and good speed. For Great Britain, they got over on this on the right-hand side on that downwind, and it's really tricky out there. Quite a lot of wind, big waves, but still the patches. And it was that touchdown that we saw the lead change. Really challenging conditions. Some of the most challenging conditions I've seen here in Barcelona.
A lot of lured heel on Athena Pathway. Like they're really struggling to lock it down in the waves.
As Pete said, got this cross swell, and now we're getting wind chop on top of that coming from the wind direction. So effectively 2 or 3 different wave angles all bouncing off each other, bouncing these little boats around. Not easy to trim or steer, not easy if you're the auto pilot for the ride height control either, having to deal with all those mixed signals.
Steering here, Pauline Bourtois, 3 times match racing world champion. Hoping she can use her skills in the final. The big battle to get there first.
These AC40s all powered by 100% battery. No grinding or cycling involved in these little boats. So power on tap. That's how you use that power. It creates the performance of these boats. Accurate steering and trimming, absolutely key to getting the boats to sail at their maximum performance, particularly in this confused sea state.
16 knots. Nice. How far are they? You go off.
We're still 20. Yep, coming off our riders. I think we're just following the boats to windward. So your eyes on them.
Steering on Emirates Team New Zealand was Liv Mackay, the voice you can hear, Joe Alla.
Maybe go wider. Okay, taking here in 10.
Such a good team this. They can hang it together. A real threat, full of performers, street fighters.
Gemma Jones, no stranger to sailing high performance boats on the Olympic class NACRA 17. Very experienced campaigner.
This is the umpire's New Zealand boundary penalty.
An unforced error there for the Kiwis. We're disappointed with that 75-metre penalty. Oh, and they've got plenty going on here.
Transition boards.
Bruno Rosso, Prada Pirelli still doing a number on the rest of the fleet in conditions that have really got up and put all the fleet under pressure to handle these mobile roller coasters. They're around. Athena Pathway, Great Britain, they are sitting in second position. They will complete leg number 3. That penalty is. How much is it going to hurt Emirates Team New Zealand? At the moment, they still sit in 3rd position. But the chasing pack are almost on them. There goes Emirates Team New Zealand. Followed by Orient Express and L'Oreal Racing. There's American Magic and will be Lingy Red Bull Racing at the tail of the fleet.
Keep going. Angle in 2, once, angle here.
It's a big lefty. Happy to drive whenever.
I'm ready, Anya. Happy. 3, 2, 1, go down.
It's their 41, 42 knots of boat speed. Yes, really, really bumpy conditions, like going over a set of whoops in a car or a bike at pace.
Yes.
Super high speeds for a very, very small boat.
Steering on port, it's Margarita Porra. Trimming for her, Julia Fava.
By jibe. Lower. Happy up. 2, 1. Go down. And go down. Slowly. And turning. Okay, my wheel.
Both young sailors, Margarita 25, Julia 23. Absolute youth stars in foiling boats, 29ers. Going fast.
These women definitely not scared of the pace and the performance of these boats. Absolutely at ease.
If they can master getting off the start line, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli look dangerous.
Danger is their middle name. Luna Rosa Prada Pirelli will steam home in this third race of the PUIG Women's America's Cup and take another big chunk out of the rest of the fleet as far as points are concerned. The Italians win and bank 10 big points. Oh yeah, they'll be happy about that. Coming home in second position to pick up the 7 points will be Athena Pathway, Great Britain. The whole fleet really given a stern test of their ability today, but they have handled it well. What about that final podium position? It will be Emirates Team New Zealand. They got rid of the penalty quickly at the top gate, just before the top gate, and come home with a valuable 5 points. New Zealand crosses the line.
Nice race, guys.
Heck of a race yesterday, race 3 of Group A, Italy, Great Britain and New Zealand. Those were your top 3, and it was beautifully handled by all the fleet in those conditions, wasn't it?
It was such good racing. We enjoyed watching it again. Yeah, really well handled, and difficult conditions with that seaway.
So we are still waiting for a start on race number 2, Group B, day number 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. You can see on the top left of your screen, whatever size that might be, a little under 8 minutes and 27 seconds to go before we get a start. Those are the winners of race number 1, which was the Swedish Challenge.
It looks good. I'm also excited for our next race. The wind has come in. I mean, I think it's going to be a bit pulsy all day. One of the lovely J-class boats, 3 of them here racing, real spectacles. This is what the America's Cup was 100 years ago. Great design. That's what you see when you look at that.
You think of the man hours that would have gone into creating these monsters back then, and obviously now using some slightly more modern technology with their sails than they would have done back in the day, but absolutely pieces of naval architecture. Brilliant. Fantastic to see them out on the water here, mixing it up with some more modern technology, the AC40s and the AC75s, but it's fantastic to see the history of the America's Cup. A lot of sporting trophies in the world.
So 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Romantic, beautiful, glorious. Just explains what a J-boat really is, isn't it? When you just look at it.
This is the race committee. Yachts are now released to sail. Sweden is INR, instructed not to race 2.
Wow. How about that?
Yes,
Instructed not
Sweden,
to race.
Yeah, Sweden have had a technical issue. Actually, their boat has shut down and they have no comms, so making it impossible to race. But they will be awarded. They will be awarded some point, as they've been told not to take part. So a bit of a blow from this standout team.
So there we have it. That's a big blow points-wise. A long way to go, but we shall just wait and see. Sweden not sailing race 2. You know, to be victorious in the AC40 teams, you need to work as one. Now, that's easier said than done when you consider many of these sailors have been fierce rivals for most of their sporting life. Germany, a case in point. They lack the on-water experience in the 40, but are confident they can turn former Olympic combatants into one of the best teams in this regatta.
For me, the whole event is pretty special, especially the Women's Cup, because it's the first time women get so much attention and it's only women on the boat. I'm pretty hyped to be part of it, and it's really cool. Everything is kind of new. The boat is new, the racing software is new, all the technical side is very new to all of us.
To prepare here for the Cup, we did a lot of simulator training with the whole team and looking into different things like communication, boat handling, what we want to achieve there.
But having it in real life and combining the racing software and the outside impressions all in once and communicating it will be tough, I think. My role as a driver, and I think I'm
quite a calm person on the boat, and yeah, not super up and down with the emotions. So maybe that's one thing I can bring into the team. We have Carolina Werner, who's our team leader in the women's squad, and yeah, she also started the whole campaign for us. Then we have Tina Lutz, who won silver at the Olympics. So she's pretty advanced sailor and will help the team with her knowledge and with campaigning. Then we have Vicky Juchtoch, also a 49er FX sailor. She's really organized and really analytic and always tries to do the best and to get the best out of the team. Then we have Jill Paland as a trimmer.
I first started in the Nacra 17, so it's also a foiling boat, and that's, I think, quite nice to have some foiling experience as well.
Then we have Louise Wanzer. She's a 470 sailor, also did an Olympic campaign and Olympic Games, so she is really experienced, also has a good overview about the race course, about issue boats and other boats.
Thank you. Need to be away now. Okay, coming down.
We have a squad with many different people helping us. Jochen Schumann, for example. It's cool to have him on board because he did what we do now and won one of the big cups, so it's really special to step into his footsteps and try to do the same.
I think a lot of people at home will be watching the Cup, and I think to have a great performance here would be really nice, and it would also mean that we had a good preparation.
Winning the first event in this kind of situation would be just fantastic and unbelievable. I think everyone would be cheering for us and it would be really, really nice.
Good news off the coast of Barcelona on day 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. Group B, the invited teams. We are good to go racing, but we will be one boat down. That will be Sweden, who have been instructed not to race. They have comms and power issues, so that's a blow, but they will get the average of points, as you will see at the end of the day. And here's hoping they get themselves sorted for race number 3. But we're good to go for race number 2.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling is complete, and this race is live.
We are just over the wind limit at the bottom part of the track. It's going to be quite hard this start, staying on the foils, staying out the dirt. Just having a look at the ghost boat. I mean, currently loving that right-hand side of the track, and it is scared of the left. So keep an eye on that as this race unfolds.
2 minutes and counting at the start. Peter Lester on board Chase Zero, our hydrogen chase boat. Quick update on conditions from where you sit, Pete.
Well, the breeze is in a little bit, and we've still got this high cloud caused by a bit of low pressure north. It's moist air, and it's that high cloud moist air that's just holding the wind, the sea breeze build. So it's going to be light and funky for the rest of the afternoon.
Right, 1:30 to start. Yeah. Clear to bear away. Yeah, clear. Stand by. Hold, more.
And we have 17 seconds and counting. Australia will be, they'll be probably kicking themselves at the wind caught now because they were in a strong position and at one stage leading race number 1. So they'll have the bits between the teeth and ready to go again, as will the rest of the fleet.
Speed is their friend right now. A lot of gas around as the 6 boats back and forward.
Team Germany, they're looking like they've had a bit of a touchdown potentially, but they are off the foils, just not executing that last jibe. That's going to hurt. They really need to repop. They're just digging themselves out of the hole with only 35 seconds to go.
Canadians lining up for port tack start. Looking good, good pace.
Yacht Team Dutch Sail, I think, in pole position to get off this line in good shape. Sail Team Barcelona also nicely positioned on the line, as are Andu Team Australia, building speed.
Let's go racing. Race 2, Group B, and penalties already.
Umpires, OCS get behind penalty, Spain and Australia. OCS get behind penalty, Spain and Australia.
Ouch.
Yeah, that is an ouch. That is a get behind Team Yayo Dutch Sail of 75 metres, so getting a little trigger happy.
The Olympic champion on the Dutch boat nailed it. They were 2 metres back and sending it.
Or down. And turning here. Forward up. Holding. Speed build. Long time elbow.
Just having another look at the start. Oh,
Spain
so close.
By mere inches being over the line, both teams, but there's no doubt you're either over or you're behind. Accuracy of 2 centimetres to 1,000th of a degree, so can't argue with the technology these days.
Australians getting near the boundary. We're looking for attack, back out, good pressure.
Right, a little bit of pressure on the bow. We got still 15, 15. Yeah. Heading up. Yeah. Then attack. Going forward into 1. Forward down. Turning into 1. Turning.
Olivia Price painting a picture, picking up the wheel on starboard.
Nice gains back to Andu Team Australia. Potentially a little more pressure over on that right-hand side, made a little gain. Very tight cross here from the Dutch. By Richard Slater and his team will have their eyes open. The Dutch team will have to re-accelerate their AC40, and we'll possibly see a slight lead change now. Australians getting a nice little wind out that right-hand side of the course.
Dutch team were slow to get going out of that tack. Left the Australian team in a great spot. It's getting lighter towards the top of the track. We're just seeing 7 knots at the top marks. So really need to be building power, building speed.
24 before this tack. Stabilise.
That was a nice lead change. Olivia Price, who's helming on starboard for the Australians, took full advantage of a little bit more pace in the slow tack by the Netherlands, but these two teams evenly matched. Off the line, it was good to see all boats, or 3 boats, right on the line. Unfortunately, 2 of them just over, but it just shows how the level is increasing, the level is rising for the teams as they do a bit more racing. This will be close between Australia and the Netherlands at the stop mark.
Just get the feeling it's going to be a bit of a tiptoe around the top gate for the first time. Leg 1 of 4. Currently, it's Andu Team Australia, followed by the Netherlands, Yayo Team Dutch Sail, and Sail Team Barcelona.
And Yayo Team Dutch Sail just copping a face full of dirt off Andu Team Australia.
And Andu Team Australia just get around. Conditions a little light at the top gate. Followed through by Yayo Team Dutch Sail, AC Team Germany, and Sail Team Barcelona with a little bit of an intersection there. There go Yayo Team Dutch Sail. Wow, look at this. Just for that 3rd spot, AC Team Germany have picked up some speed. What's going on with Sail Team Barcelona here?
Oh, they did a really late manoeuvre. Big Cunninghammies there. A bit over eased, and the Germans coming in and attacking and coming off their foils, as have the Canadians. Pressure manoeuvres here to get back into the pressure that was at the bottom of the course. Australians doing a nice manoeuvre. I'll be happy with that. Pressure on the Dutch team now.
Umpires, penalty Spain relative to Germany.
Oh, and the Dutch have come off their foils as well. A bad jibe. Yayo, Team Dutch sail. And that is a massive penalty. They are going to be waiting for the next line of breeze to come down to get re-pop.
Spain penalty is to lose 75 metres relative to Germany.
Australians charging 30 knots of boat speed.
Spain penalty clear.
This was the incident between Germany and Spain. Just a basic port starboard. Spain did not clear, didn't make any attempt to get out of the way. This is a rather scary shot on board Spain. Not much in it.
Meanwhile, at the front of the fleet on leg 2 downwind, and it's Andu, Team Australia, while Sail Team Barcelona have had their penalty cleared. They still sit in second position.
Next manoeuvre from the Australians and Sail Team Barcelona. Very critical. Australians look like they may have jibed and executed their jibe well on board Sail Team Barcelona. 18 knots of boat speed. Can they hang on to it? Touchdown. Right on the edge.
Wrestling with the wheel there. Neas Ballester, 20 years old from Palma.
Spain just trying to dig themselves out of the hole. They fell off the foils, but in these really light conditions, that's a top effort to get the boat accelerated again. Now the apparent wind will come forward, the speed will increase, the apparent wind speed increases, and everything just gets so much easier. It's a day that we're going to talk about. The teams that stayed on the foils got the points on the board, and Australia are out in the lead, but Spain now are coming from behind. They're foiling. The trick for the Spanish will be to keep on the foils down leg 2.
The German fans may have heard that the German team have been disqualified. They went too far out of the boundaries. I'm just going to have a quick look. Yeah, at their maximum, they were 136 metres away from the boundaries, which they had some kind of issue. And the very maximum you can go is 85 without being disqualified.
It's a hard
tough day for them.
It's a hard learning curve, isn't it, Shirley? As Andu, Team Australia, right now have a massive break on the fleet, but that can shrink very quickly with one poor manoeuvre. And that's just the fact of flying these AC-40s in conditions that are testing all of the boats, but they are around and flying. Andu, Team Australia.
So Andu, Team Australia sailing downwind into slightly more pressure, so that rubber band does stretch. As you sail into the back of the wind, you're actually sailing much faster than the wind speed, so quicker all the time, but they will be sailing back upwind into that lighter air sector, so we're all on the edge of our seats in the manoeuvres as they head back upwind.
That's a great shot in the cockpit, isn't it? Olivia Price steering, going into the tack, tucked in behind her, Lisa Darmanin, silver medalist in the NACRA in Rio. Got a real diversity of talent, this Aussie team. I mean, Olivia Price won her silver medal match racing. Lisa Darmanin in the cat, in the fast foiling cat. Loads of 49er experience too. I mean, they have the package.
Laura Harding and Annie Wilmot now on the port side, trolling the boat, but Sail Team Barcelona charging down to the bottom. Yayo, Team Dutch Sail not far behind them, so they're the top 3 boats in this race. As we've seen, one little skid or a wobble, things can change, and they are pushing the ride height and the heel, just keeping that little skinny rudder in the water with the elevator on the bottom of that. So Nice job.
So league number 2 completed by Sail Team Barcelona. Washed the penalty off at the top gate and are now just sailing for points. Boy, points at this position. Second, that's 7 points. That's massive. Yacht Team Dutch Sailor, who had a pretty ordinary first race, will want to bank more points.
Oh, mast not rotating there on board their AC40, so that's not good to see. They need to get that mast rotated. There's an issue on board there. That mast rotation hasn't gone through, so not good for performance and not good for the rig. Not sure what's happened there. Just getting it to go through there now, so I'm not sure whether they had a little operator error there. Looks like it.
Boundary, maar we doen het wel goed. 40 seconden tot boundary.
Met dudes on the port side.
Mooie Echo kunnen iets hoog als ze willen.
Annette Duke's gold medals from Paris, bronze from Tokyo. Absolutely Odil's right-hand woman. The hardest thing has been for the trimmers, isn't it? A lot of the steering things you could practice in the simulating, but actually trimming the sails, or the aero package, as they call it now, is pretty hard without hours and hours on the boat.
Rip the boat through there, tacking from port to starboard, and a little foil ventilation there. Just getting a little bit windward heel, piercing that foil through the water, but getting away with it.
Ja, 1 boot komt boven ons, vuile wind, protest button, drukken over 3, 2, 1, drukboot. Ja, we hebben het gedaan.
Dutch team having a go. The Canadians coming downwind, but the Canadians should have well and truly kept out of the way there.
Gaat aan deze kant wat meer druk, dus happy om door te gaan. Okay, hou hem op een gooi omhoog. Ja, nice. Iets omlaag, Rodil, even een beetje bouwen tegen de golven. Van je gaat door naar...
Meanwhile, at the front of the fleet, a reduced fleet by 2 with the German disqualification, and Sweden instructed not to race after winning race 1, and that will hurt. But let's just remember, they've got 8 fleet races. This is only number 2, but right now at the front, it's Andu Team Australia. And a win here, be very careful when I say win here, would put them at the top of the points table after 2 races.
About 9 knots of wind speed, so nice conditions, slowly filling in across the course. Still is a few puffs and lulls to negotiate. The Team Australia, Emirates team is needing to lock the boat in, keep sailing accurately, in great shape.
Nice drive. Really locked in now, the Aussie team.
Nice, cool, calm comms on board the Australian boat. Great to hear.
We've got 2 more drives to go. Just talking about like best pressure on the course.
Having a look at this buzz past on board Yacht Team Dutch Sail, watching the Canadians come past at pace. Canadians having to make sure they keep those sections clear. You can see how fast the boats go past each other there. Well, Top Gun fans call that buzzing the tower.
So it's now the battle for the podium in this reduced fleet right now. That battle is between Sail Team Barcelona and Yacht Team Dutch Sail. So it will be Yacht Team Dutch Sail that are trailing Sail Team Barcelona as they hit that top gate. The last time in race 2 of this inaugural PUIG Women's America's Cup. Good points too for Sail Team Barcelona. They finished second in race 1, so another second is valuable points, as we have said before, as we see Yacht Team Dutch Sail approach that top gate for the final time of the race. Be in that top 3 all the way, and let's be blunt, you stick there, you're going to be going into the semi-finals. Long way to go, though. Long way to go.
The points are so weighted as well into that top 3. It was so good to finish the race in the chocolates.
Australians also sailing well. They've executed their final jibes coming down to this bottom sector. Nice jibe on board Yacht Team Dutch Sail. But they are trailing a little too much, I think, to dig back into Sail Team Barcelona.
And the Dutch have sparks of brilliance, stringing it together.
You can see the smiles from here on the faces of the crew of Andu Team Australia in race 2 of Group B in the PUIG Women's America's Cup. They have done a cracker of a job in challenging weather. Andu Team Australia get the win and that big 10 points.
Girls do well. All right, we're going to go for a board down, turn up, full of foils.
Yep, there's some Aussies in the crowd, and I'd be yahooing like anything about that too.
3, 2, 1, and turning.
Nice composure from Andu Team Australia. Nice, accurate, smooth comms and accurate boat handling, and that is exactly what's needed to get these AC40s around the track in good shape. Well done.
Coming up into wind. Nice work, ladies. That was really calm and prioritised well.
Exactly what you said, Glenn.
She's got a cheat sheet. She knows Glenn's listening.
And we're watching too.
Sail Team Barcelona. They finished second in race 1. They will finish second in race 2. A valuable 7 points.
Sylvia Mass steering. Behind her, Maria Cantero.
Yeah, good point collection for the Spanish here as they come down. And it's just about accumulating points. It's a long series.
No voy a caer más, Mary. ¿Copy? Vale. 3, board down, ya. Board down. Dale, rápido, rápido.
Sail Team Barcelona.
Vale, ya, dale.
Both boards down for that final jibe. Remember last time the final jibe, they went jibe stop. And there they go. They finished second. Sail Team Barcelona, 7 points.
It could be a very, very valuable 7 points. Sail Team Barcelona. As this regatta goes forwards. Really nicely done.
And if you talk about teams that need points right now, we spoke at length about the amount of talent on Yacht Team Dutch Sail. They finished 5th in race 1. They will finish 3rd in race 2. So the improvement is on point. 3rd place finish. Look what that means to them. 5 points.
Quite a big hull fly coming out of that dive. I thought they were going to lose the rudder there and do a head-to-wind check just before the finish. They shouldn't need to do that at this point in time, Shirley. You'd think they know where the wind's coming from in this race, but they managed to hang on to it, get the boat through the finish line. A great job, some valuable points.
Let's go on Andu Team Australia. We have all 4 of the crew listening in. So where do we start? We'll start with Olivia. We heard your sail was pretty hard out there, but nice job. And it was a nice job, and weather didn't really play ball.
plenty to play for out here. It's, I guess, you know, the first time that we've been racing around with everyone out here. In those marginal conditions, we've had a little bit more wind in the practice racing. So, yeah, just stoked to come away with a good race that we were able to put everything kind of together.
Nice job, Olivia. I'll go behind you to Lisa, who has the biggest grin. I mean, how pleased are you, Lisa, with how well it's coming together?
I guess, Shelley, we didn't really know what was going to happen because we haven't done much sailing. So to put it all together from a computer game to real life, it's much more fun out here ripping around on the race course, even though there's a little bit of tension in the light breeze. But yeah, it's really cool. The girls are super calm. We thought that we'd be up here, but we're managing to put it all together, and we're having a pretty good time too.
How's the heart rates going out there today for you girls here?
I mean, Liz is always up, so that's fine. Yeah, we'll check it when we get England, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be skyrocketing.
Great job. Very, very nice composure, and enjoy this next race. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's have a chat to Annie. Annie, this whole idea of not being able to see your other helm. I mean, how much of a challenge is that, particularly when you know you're really being pushed against it?
Oh, it's pretty good. I mean, I have Liv's face in my mind at all times, so you know, even if I can't see her, I can tell whether she's smiling or not. But yeah, it's really good. You know, we got 2 more races to go, so hopefully we can keep putting on a good show.
Yeah, just a quick one to Laura. We haven't spoken to you yet. I mean, how much are you loving this now you're actually on the racetrack?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's been a long time in the making. You know, we're all excited to be here, and we're just enjoying the time we've got in these boats. And it's pretty cool to be able to race them now. Like, we spent the first few days of training just trying to learn maneuvers and figure that all out. But yeah, it's nice to be racing now.
Brilliant job. A win in race 2, you're top of the table.
Perfect. Nice.
This is the race committee. Race 2 is stopped.
So confirmation that race 2 is stopped. We did not see the Canadians from Concord Pacific Racing cross the line. And so let's just confirm the result of race number 2 in Group B. This is Group B, the invited teams in the PUIG Women's America's Cup. So it's Andu Team Australia banking 10 points, followed by Sail Team Barcelona, Yacht Team Dutch Sail, and Concord Pacific Racing getting at the top, gate 3 for the final time, with the race then stopped, ran out of time. It was a disqualification for Team Germany for going well outside the boundary, and the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis did not start. They were instructed not to start, but they will get average points for that race.
Well, there was a lot going on in the race. Let's have another look. What we thought was a perfect start. 2 boats just slightly over the line, but they're getting better and better as with each race goes on. Let's have a look at that. I mean, half a metre.
Millimetres, isn't it?
Not much in it. By gate 1, the Aussies were in command and on the charge. Beautiful first leg for them. Followed by the Dutch. Tight at the top this race. And by leg 4, it was a leg of honour really for the Aussie team. They kept it clean, beautiful manoeuvres, sailed in the pressure, and took the win. And we heard what it meant. The win in race 2 in this group went to Australia. Nice work. All right, we're going to have another look at that start. I mean, the difference between just over and just under the start line is tiny, tiny margins. Australia were 1 metre over at the right-hand end of the line. Spain, 70 centimetres over in the middle. And Netherlands are 1.8 metres safe at the left-hand end. I mean, each team were doing 28 knots. So it would have been so hard to judge. But this is what's going to make the difference. A great start for the Dutch in this race.
Having a look at some of the data that's been presented, for Andu Team Australia, they can boast being a knot faster average speed around the course, but also with better VMG and the lowest distance sailed. All round, a really strong performance. It will give them absolute confidence and clearly shows everyone just how good they can be. Going to be tight racing coming up.
We are being treated to the superstars of women's sailing, gathered en masse to battle it out for this inaugural PUIG Women's America's Cup. It's a regular who's who of sailing, but the Spanish are unfazed. Sail Team Barcelona joined the regatta with just 6 days of training under their belt, but they are confident they can do their country proud.
PUIG Women's America's Cup is something very unique. I think for me it's a stepping stone in my career as a professional sailor, and obviously a huge step forward in the world of sailing for every woman who wants to become a professional, but we need to make sure that it keeps on going.
It's a competition we were dreaming since day one of our sailing career.
It's crazy to have the America's Cup here in home in Barcelona. It's amazing, like we have all the family coming to see, all the friends, and it's incredible to see how all the city had converted. And I mean, we are sailing here all the time, and now seeing it in this way, for me, well, it's amazing. Like being on a car, on a rally car, and very fast. Like you don't have any ropes, so you are all the time touching buttons. So, and a wheel, it's super weird, but in the other hand, it's like, I don't know, I really love this adrenaline of the sport. You know that if you cross that limit, you might get a nosedive. It's super fun.
The biggest tools we've used is the simulator. We spend a lot of hours there, but we've also spent a lot of hours working with each other, learning about our different styles of like communication, how we work as a team, because it's the first time we all sail together.
Maria Cantero is the trimmer who is sitting behind me. She's also a very experienced sailor. She's been sailing on big boats and also in the Olympic campaign. We managed to very fast like sail kind of the same way.
I'm very used to sailing fast boats, so I think I'm used to the reactivity that is needed to be a trimmer. Silvia is an amazing sailor. She comes from the 470, winning multiple world champions. She is a very aggressive person on the helm who wants to do a lot, no? She's always like pushing for more. Then on the other side, we have Neus Ballester. Neus is the youngest of the team. She has an amazing talent, honestly. From the moment we've seen her sailing on the simulator, we've all been impressed by her skills.
And then we have Paula Barceló, that is more technical than anybody.
This team has a very big potential, even though we have less hours on the water.
We are aware that this is just the first time, that we're going to have like more cups in the future, and we want to make sure we learn as much as possible so that we can really win one.
It is a beautiful day in Barcelona, and that's probably a place where a lot of people would rather be, enjoying themselves in the magnificence of the village as they can see the racing from the beach and from big screens all around. There's a big J boat, look at that, look at the size of that sail, my word. As Glenn would say, that's a lot of sheet.
There's a lot of cloth there, and about 500 square metres of sail area roughly on those main sails, so bigger than most suburban house blocks around a lot of the places in the country, and a fair bit of sail area on this as well.
A lot cheaper though, not made of carbon fibre. There's some amazing boats here, isn't it? I mean, it's been such a festival of sail already. It's been so good.
It has been an absolute treat. If the people have had the opportunity to come to Barcelona, it's just beautiful boats everywhere. Now, Australia is here for one reason. They just want a race, and one reason only. They want to add their country's storied history, restore their prominence in the world of sailing, and claim its newest prize, the inaugural PUIG Women's America's Cup. To do that, they've taken a deep dive into the Aussie pool of talent and assembled a team of superstars.
To have Australia back in the America's Cup is extremely exciting. You know, I'm really passionate about racing for Australia. We have incredible sailors all around the world, and now's an opportunity for us to actually race for our country in the America's Cup again.
3, 2, 1, forward down.
We were the first nation to take it from the Americans back in 1983.
And for the first time in 132 years, the challenger had won.
We love an underdog story in Australia, and you know, that moment, it really captured the hearts of the whole nation. We've got people that were involved in that cup in 1983 as patrons, as mentors, and I hope that it also creates momentum for us forward so that eventually we'll see an Australian team back in the America's Cup.
This is the first time that the Women's America's Cup is happening, so we really do have the best in the world racing against each other.
I think what it's going to do is it's going to provide no excuses for the cup teams to not look at female sailors as in the talent pool for the traditional cup teams in the future.
There are multiple Olympic medalists, world champions and top-level sailors on all the teams. So the racing is going to be fast, intense and fun, but the quality of the fleet, I'm expecting it to be fighting for every inch on the water.
I think the group of female sailors that we're going to see out there have been asking for this opportunity, asking just for a shot to show what we can give to a professional sailing team. The moment is now, and it's just the momentum's going to carry.
AC40 is incredible. It's so exciting to be racing on board. Such an incredible foiling, fast boat, especially with 4 girls on board.
It's an incredible machine. It's surprisingly easy to sail. Obviously, I think it'll punish you when you get it wrong. Super high tech, obviously, compared to the boats I'm used to sailing, used to pulling ropes, and now we're pushing buttons, but all the concepts are still the same. Everything's just a little bit faster, a little bit more high tech.
Yeah, let's go. Roll. Yep, rolling now.
We jumped in the simulator in September last year, and we're spending 5 days a week, around 3 hours a day minimum in the simulator. So hundreds of hours sitting in an office sailing in a boat that doesn't move. But what it's given us the opportunity to learn those skills in a very controlled environment and test the limits. Essentially, obviously we don't get punished for those limits in the simulator, but it's really given us the tools to be able to feel confident to get on a boat without causing, thousands of dollars of damage.
My role in the team is as a skipper. I've been a skipper for most of my sailing career, and also, helming a lot of different foiling boats and also non-foiling boats in Olympic classes.
Olivia Price, she's a fierce competitor. She doesn't hold back. I think she always expects the best out of her team. She pushes us to be better. She's got a really good structure of the way that she approaches racing and communication, and I think she helps sort of bring the team together and push us forward. I'm a trimmer, and I think what I bring to the team is fast boat experience from the NACRA 17. I'm not afraid of speed. I love to go fast. I also have a lot of feel. I know when to push the boat, and I kind of know when to hold back.
Lisa Darmanin is a force to be reckoned with. She's a 2-time Olympian, Olympic silver medalist, and she and I actually grew up sailing together on Sydney Harbour and against each other. So, we know each other very well. And I think that she's got so much excitement and enthusiasm and attention to detail and routine. We get along very well. And yeah, she's really core to our team in trying to continue pushing those limits and super dedicated. So working with Lisa on the same boat, it's been, I think a lot of times since we've actually been on the same boat together, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Really, okay, well, at our target now.
I think Annie Wilmot brings a lot of energy to the team. She's an amazing trimmer. She has lots of good feel as well. I think she has some different ideas to me, but together we sort of come together as a trimming group and move forward together. We're really collaborative.
Her and Laura Harding sailed together in the 49er FX for the last 4 years, and they're sitting on the same side of the pod. The team dynamic between all 4 of us on board, Annie really dominates that trimming role and keeps that communication structure in line.
Laura Harding, she's really process orientated. She always wants to know why, which helps us dive into sort of the reasons why we're trying to achieve things. It would be so special to win the first ever Women's America's Cup for Australia. I think any time you get to represent your country is amazing. To do it at the first ever Women's America's Cup, which is just so iconic, so important, to mark a place of Australia back in the cup. But to be able to win under our flag would mean everything.
Good pressure on the inside, Plenty on the...
And Team Australia, I love the line, we bring a lot of energy, because this is what the PUIG Women's America's Cup has brought already, an enormous amount of energy and great sailing. And we are going to get good sailing because the wind is picked up for race 3, Group B. What does the points look like at this particular point? Well, how about this? And Team Australia, with a 3rd place and the win, are now sitting on 15 points, just 1 point clear of the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis and the locals in Sail Team Barcelona. So there's work to do for Yacht Team Dutch Sail, Concord Pacific Racing out of Canada, and also AC Team Germany. But the most important thing, weather's picked up, and it's just like Group A yesterday. The last 2 races, the weather picked up and it got wild. And
This is the race committee. We are delaying the start by 2 minutes.
Standard of racing went through the roof. They just threw themselves at it. So just a slight delay in the start. Let's go on to the water. Peter Lesser in for a cracking 2 more races if the weather holds like this.
I think it will, but it's going to be patchy, and I think what we're seeing, just because of the conditions out here, there's a bit of a cold front hanging around to the north of Barcelona. We've got this cloud cover, and the sea breeze is really not building, and it's patchy. So what I'm expecting to see here is the wind at about 200 when we get going, and that last 50 to 45 seconds, that final approach to the line, you need to be on the foils with about 10 seconds to kill and start on time.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate that. The other encouraging news is we have the Swedish Challenge, who were instructed not to race in the last outing, back out on the water, Shirley.
Yeah, that's great news. We're loving the wind field, don't we? Every day we see it, we just think it's the best thing. And we, as Peter said, there's sort of big pulses of wind coming down the course. A real heads out the boat kind of day. Let's just have a bit of a recap of who's on what boat. This is Canada's Concord Pacific Racing Team, and steering and skippered by Isabella Berthold. She's backed up on the wheel by skiff Olympian Ali Ten Hove. And the trimmers on this boat is skiff Olympian Mariah Millen and single-hander Maura Dewey.
Okay, doing one more. Now just hold please.
On board, Sail Team Barcelona, Sylvia Maas and now Spiesta taking on helming duties and trimming the sails. Maria Cantero and Paola Vasallo, keeping it all locked in on the aero side of things.
Well, we just heard about them in the VT. They're a bunch of girls who like to go fast. Leading the charge, the skipper, Olivia Price, and her offside helm is Laura Harding. And making the magic happen on trim, Annie Wilmot, and silver medalist Lisa Darmanin.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling is complete, and this race is live.
Team Germany, Maru Shield, Tina Lutz, trimming sails behind them, Louisa Bunza and Caroline Werner, keeping it locked in and sailing fast.
Quite much here.
And so good to see them ripping around back in the race, having fixed their boat. On this boat, we have a really accomplished team sheet. Halt from a silver medal in Paris. It's Vilma Bobeck and Rebecca Netzler. Fired up. They are fired up. And joining them is the experienced Julia Gross and Fast Cat Supremo, Ida Spence.
Yacht Team Dutch Sail from the Netherlands. Really great experience on high-performance sailing dinghies. Steering the AC40 there, Willem Offerman.
Boundary penalty Canada, boundary penalty Canada.
Odile van Arnholt steering the boat. Trimming, Annette Duits and Ariana van der Loostrecht, keeping the sail trim on point. So they'll all be looking to get their boats in good position. Breeze building nicely on the J1 jib, so on the big jibs on the AC40. Should get off to some clean starts.
Well, Canadian fans will have heard that umpire called. Canada is below the bottom boundary. Obviously something is going on there, as you can see them there. We'll try and find out what, but
14.
Not an ideal start for this Canadian team.
They'll be needing to get popped up on their foils and get into that boundary. Otherwise they will pop a penalty, possibly a very big one.
Just with our penalty, actually happy
All the other 5 boats are on port, heading to the right-hand side. One more manoeuvre before that final lineup. Approaching from up high with lovely clear air, it is Sweden.
Want to win the pin here? Yeah, copy. We got 7 to kill to the pin. There is 1 boat 2 boarding at our 3. Copy up for attack. Coming up. Almost racing to the pin. Clear. Forward in 2. Go now. Forward. Turning into. Turning now. Turning.
Olivia Price
Stay 2 boards. Let's stay 2.
tacking. Final approach for the line. Under 30 seconds to go, building pace. We've seen the Dutch start well in all the other races. They are leading the charge to the pin end.
There we go. 13 seconden tot de start. Bijna upwind. 2, 1. You're racing. Upwind. Van up here.
Let's do this. Race 3, Group B, PUIG Women's America's Cup in Barcelona.
Canada penalty clear.
Brilliant start there by Yayo, Team Dutch Sail, just charging the speed batteries and winding up onto course and immediately taking a gain. It'll be hard for the Australian team to live there for too long, but they can't tack. So they've got the Spanish team just off their hip, so...
It was a really conservative start, and actually the best, as you say, was the Dutch team, and they were 20 metres back. We're going to see that get tighter and tighter, I'm sure. Australians in a tough spot there, getting the gas from the Dutch team.
Yeah, they needed to tack a little bit earlier there. And Australia, they should have been matching the boat behind. They're going to struggle to get off that boundary now and live.
We have 20 seconds to boundary.
Swedish challenge powered by Artemis Tech, finding their form. Glad to be back in this race.
Happy to hold this line. Plan A is 1 and in.
Turning. 9, 2, 1, and random. Rolling up.
Cam Combs on board Swedish challenge.
Target 24.5.
Copy.
Julia Gross steering on port. Behind her, Rebecca Netzler, silver medalist from Paris.
About the shift phase here. 200.
Not having the best start, Team Germany picked up a little bit of a shift out on that right-hand side and have dug their way back into this race. Not far off an intersection there with Sweden and Germany. Swedes will be watching them come across, but they're clear ahead. Germans will be looking to keep extending and try and get out some clear air on that left-hand boundary and hopefully pick up a little lefty out there and get back into the race.
Massive increase in pressure in the right-hand top corner, up to 12 knots. Spanish leading into that, digging deep into the right.
The section now with Sweden and Australia. The Swedes having to duck down behind. Give way boat. Australians needing to tack out of there. They were just getting held up by Yayo, Team Dutch Sail all the way across there.
Settle in, girls. Doesn't need to be a crazy overlay. Over here. Okay, your visual mark. Copy, slowly working on our high modes. Ja, gaat helemaal goed, jongens. Heel lekker bezig. Er komen geen andere boten meer. Ojo, no hay que pararlo,
Sail Team Barcelona needing to be careful here. They are the giveaway boat, so those electronic boundaries are the actual official boundaries that the umpires are looking at. They will need to be very, very careful to not get too close to that leeward boat or one that's further away from the wind.
We could see them searching for a high mode, moving the Traveller a lot. Odile van Anout, gold medalist in the skiff class, leading into this top gate.
This is brilliant racing, race 3. Group B, the invited teams, and Yayo Team Dutch Sail. Big moments as they get around these top marks. They're being followed. The Sail Team Barcelona, who you look at your scoreboard, have maybe their nose in front. Then comes the Swedish challenge. At the opposite mark goes Andu Team Australia. Big condition changes here. Big condition changes. AC Team Germany finding some speed, finding some form. And don't forget, Concord Pacific Racing were way outside the boundary, but got back inside, and they too have found some speed.
Down. And turning.
Team Yacht Dutch Sail, they need a good score from this race.
Oh, and the rudder safety kicking in there, getting really healed. Oh, they've still got plenty on, the Dutch team. The software looking after them there, that ride height controller saying, I'm not going to let you get too high, and I'm automatically going to lower the boat back in the water. Not best for performance, but good to keep the foils in the water, so a lot of software behind these boats looking after the women's teams as they're pushing the boats hard.
They have sailed an AC40, well, you could count it on one hand. It's impressive how quickly they are learning.
Fantastic racing, absolutely pushing these boats to the limit.
Oké, dan hebben we wel echt gas, hè? Iets minder wind hier ook, hè? 10 knopen nog. Als hij het is heel moeilijk uit. Ik weet het door iets minder kijken.
And do Team Australia far out of phase, sailing into slightly lighter wind this bottom end of the course, so that will keep the fleet a little more condensed as the back markers trail off, sailing in slightly more breeze. Front runners sailing into slightly lighter pressure, so that'll keep the fleet tight. Potential close intersection coming up if the Dutch team don't watch out here. They have to give way. Sail Team Barcelona, starboard tacker, having right of way.
Dutch team really trying to push that, the potential of laying the gate without another manoeuvre.
Sail Team Barcelona laying that right turn. Dutch team will have to do another manoeuvre. They'll need to jibe, then take the stern of Sail Team Barcelona, potentially.
More wind, more competition, more intensity. Oh, Sail Team Barcelona. Oh, they get it back up. There goes Yacht Team Dutch Sail. This race for maybe position 3 is on between the Swedish Challenger get around and at the opposing markets and do Team Australia who...
Oh, the Swedes.
Oh, no! That opens the door for AC Team Germany. And there you see them go. They'll pick up P4 in the not too distant future, like very soon. Then Concord Pacific Racing from Canada steaming in at something like 30 knots to the bottom gate to complete the halfway mark of race 3 in Group B. There's Concord Pacific Racing. They were showing signs of real improvement at the last race, but they got caught on a timeout, so this will be valuable for them. And most importantly, they stay without or improve valuable points.
Not sure what happened with Sweden there around that mark. Not sure if they lost the rudder or just the foil. Not really sure what happened, but we needed to get foiling again to try and give themselves a chance to dig their way back into the points of this race. But Sail Team Barcelona executing beautifully, as have the Dutch, and they'll be looking forward. The Aussies, bad tack and off the foils, which will be painful.
Right, arms out of the water now. Okay, heading it.
Big penalty to pay in these conditions, trying to get back on the foils. More pressure up the course. As you can see, the green, the leaders will extend their lead over the following pack. Give way boat, Shirley, Sail Team Barcelona.
Pressure up ahead, happy up to you. 1 and in is Planna. It's lange slag.
The voice you hear in driving on starboard, Deel van and out. I mean, the hottest property and fast boat sailing.
Happy met VMG mode. There's the breeze.
Getting the hang of it.
Ja, VMG hoog als ik de race zo ver kijk.
toch? Ja, VMG is oké, denk ik hoor.
Kunnen ietsje hoger als een motor?
Heb je hier? Oké, kijk maar even mee.
Ja, ik zie.
Heb je met Kent?
Ja, gaat wel lekker.
Don't know a lot of Dutch, but understand a little bit of it. Locking the boat in, talking about their cant settings and their pathway up to the top mark. Happy with where they're going, looking at the pressure.
It's tight, there's the Spanish in a little bit more breathe.
Good arm wrestle between the Dutch and the Spanish. And these two teams, their learning curve is pretty vertical. They're just getting better and better. Really enjoying the light, dynamic winds that today is bringing. And I think it's a real heads out of the boat display by both teams. And right now the Dutch have regained the lead, but they'll probably attack behind the Spanish. I think this one will come down between these two boats.
In 2, 1.
Important manoeuvre this for the Dutch. Keep it smooth.
Oh, on the rudder. Getting close. The software dropping the boat. And they have to give way. They are the give way boat here. And the umpires will be definitely having a look at that.
Spanish press the protest button. Heard a slight panic on the Dutch boat. Slow reactions.
They were intersecting, pardon me, outside that boundary. Once you leave that boundary, you do not have any rights. Dutch team though, sailing well. They can make it round here in good shape. Be trying to hang on to this lead.
So protest asked for, no penalty given, and Yayo Team Dutch Sail survived. They've had a couple of moments, in particular the last rounding at this point, but it was the other mark. Boat saved them, boat technology saved them, but they are sailing well. They're holding on. And can they hold on for the 10 points? Because that will be massive. Sail Team Barcelona will follow them around. They've sailed consistently all day. How about this? Two teams that need points now battling for that final podium position. Concord Pacific Racing from Canada and AC Team Germany.
We're down. Ready. Clear. 1
So the
coming
Germans complete 3 legs. 1 to go in race 3.
We have 1 boat following.
So good to see the Germans finding some form.
I need to go down and dig in and push it right high.
Here's the Swedish challenge. They've picked themselves up from that big off on the foils at the bottom gate.
Right, shift it.
It feels like just beware of the Swedish team. They sat back last time, but is it too much to make up now?
My wheel. Angle. Forward up.
Can do Team Australia will complete leg number 3. Race winners and the last time out.
And angle here. Setting up. Correct. Yep, happy to do. 1, board.
Do Team Australia dig their way back in, but just this intersection, Shirley. Spanish there. Hunting a little high there, and the umpire team saying that the Dutch team did enough to keep clear. That being the case, no penalty. Definitely committed there to the cross, and in the end the right call, because they do now have the lead, but not by much.
What we want to do next. At the moment it's only VMG games.
Order down. Order down. Holding here. Pitch. Yeah, nice. Holding here.
Crucial jibe for the Dutch, and it looks like they've done a beauty. So the Dutch on that, coming on to port to head down towards the finish. Spain also have now jibed, so that looks like pretty well ley line for first and second. Picking your moment to jive in these light, funky conditions, so important. But it does look like the Netherlands will take out this one.
Yayo Team Dutch Sail, third different winner on day 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. Following them through, Sail Team Barcelona, consistent. That is a big result for them.
Really consistent performance there by Sail Team Barcelona, but a great win. Really well sailed by Yayo Team Dutch Sail, nicely locked in. Germans needing to have to hang on here, had a couple of wobbles. Fast charging Canadians, but I think Germany should just sneak their way in front if they can get the boat wound up.
It's going to be close, it's going to be close. Look at Sweden coming in from the left-hand side, but it looks like Concord Pacific Racing will get third spot, followed by AC Team Germany, and then coming home like a gazelle, the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis. And that 6th position, boy, you can go from high to low in the AC40s in the blink, because the race winner from race number 2, Andu Team Australia, will fill out the 6th and final position, and they'll pick up the single point for that finish. So in comes Andu Team Australia. And they cross the line. Different reactions from the last race, but they know there's still work to do. Their points are still pretty strong. We'll update those shortly.
On the boat in front, turning up in 2, 1, turning.
So let's confirm the race result. Race 3 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup Group B, the invited teams. First up win for Yayo Team Dutch Sail, followed by Sail Team Barcelona. That's their 3rd, 2nd place. And there's Concord Pacific Racing. Good effort, Team Germany out of the Swedish Challenge, and Andu Team Australia. On board Yayo Team Dutch Sail, and so congratulations to the whole crew. Let's start with Odile van Arnholt. Congratulations. We sense the excitement about that one, but you were challenged. You had your moments.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this first day of racing for us, and first race was a bit of the shocker, but only ways up, and that's what we've been doing. So super stoked.
Well done, Odile. Good work and fantastic starts. I mean, a quick question for Ariane behind you. You know, how much improvement has there been in this team?
A lot. I think we just got the confidence that we can do it. We pulled off some maneuvers we were very happy with, and that helped to keep calm, and super proud of everyone.
Trimmers are doing an awesome job keeping the boat fast. Yeah, for sure.
They certainly are. Just a quick question, Villeman. Just watching you guys come out of some of those jibes, we all had our hearts in our mouth as you guys got really high and heeled and almost lost the rudder a couple of times. But great job. I could hear you guys yahooing. How does it feel to be driving an AC40 in this regatta?
Incredible, incredible. It's an amazing boat, and those speed, and it's just an incredible feeling. And yeah, it's so cool to race with all of the boats together, and yeah, cannot keep smiling, stop smiling if I'm on this boat.
Well done, congratulations on a great race. Good job, girls.
We love seeing that smile. I mean, last question to Annette. You're used to being on the same side as Odile, and you won that gold medal together in Paris. You know, how is that working when you can't see each other?
It feels really natural, sort of, for the night. We never really look at each other, you know, so no, all good, all good. Happy to be in the boat together, and also with all the other girls. I think we have a really good combination together, and very happy. Very good racing. Yeah.
Congratulations, Yayo Team Dutch Sail. You sit in 2nd position on the table after 3 races.
That makes us happy. Good to hear.
Brilliant.
Don't fill us up too high. We still got some racing.
Oh, well. They got that race win, but they also nailed the start. This might be a pattern that we see. The Dutch just came off that start line with such acceleration.
Coming down. Pitch.
and had a fantastic battle, didn't they, with the Spanish team. And this was a duel which ran the whole length of the race. A few scary moments, a little bit loose at times.
Saw the elevator there a couple of times. I'm like, they were right on the edge. But some close moments, Shirley, on the upwind. And really just kept sailing the boat accurately and confidently in all the crosses that they actually went through on that race.
They started celebrating before they crossed it. The win of race 3 went to Yacht Dutch team. Well, lots of key moments, but let's look at this one. Sharp sailing between Australia and Sweden on the first upwind leg. The boats closing at speeds of over 40 knots. So keeping your nerves in check is no easy task. We have tight racing, quick reactions. It is definitely not for the faint-hearted.
I think look at some of the data here. Everyone foiling obviously in that race. So the speed's much closer with Spain on top with 28.39 knots. Dutch team certainly sailed the smartest race with most efficiency, better VMG, and keeping the manoeuvres to a minimum as well. You can obviously see what it means to them to show their best form, and now I'm sure they'll be wanting more to follow. Stay tuned, some great racing following up.
We are witnessing pure entertainment here in Barcelona, and the last decade has seen high-performance sailboat racing transform beyond recognition. The AC40s, well, they literally fly rather than ride over the waves, and Team Canada has likened to, quote, driving a race car and flying a plane at the same time. And they've had to hone their skills on simulators, but they are confident they have what it takes to hold the PUIG America's Cup aloft.
So it's the first ever Women's America's Cup, and thinking back to when I was a little girl growing up sailing, I didn't really have any female sailing mentors or idols that I looked up to, and it was simply, I didn't know any.
Okay, taking this pressure down.
And now to have the opportunity to actually make history and be a first all-women's team competing against other all-women on AC40 sailboats here at the very same time as the Men's America's Cup it's historical, and I really hope that we're going to inspire 5-year-old, 8-year-old girls to follow their dreams and not only do what we're doing, but hopefully helm one of the big 75s in the future.
Okay, let me know, Brian. Happy.
Sailing is a bit of an unrepresented sport in Canada, so being here and being a part of the biggest sporting event in sailing it is so great, and I think it's such a bright future for Canadian sailing.
Yeah, feels good, still power.
I think that's probably the coolest part about the first ever PUIG Women's America's Cup is those little girls can say, hey, see, there's professional sailing, I can go and do that. It's certainly been a different experience preparing for a regatta without many, many days on the water. We were lucky enough to get a 2-week block on an AC40, which was nice to just sort of confirm what we've been doing in the simulator, and that does in fact translate over onto the water.
Yours? Mine? The simulator that we have access to is incredibly accurate, and from the little time that we've spent on the AC40, I think we're actually very impressed by how transferable the sim training and racing is.
Turning.
My background is I'm a 49er FX sailor, an Olympian, and my port helm is Ali Tenhove. She was my FX helm, and we've sailed on the FX together for just under 8 years.
Angle to mark, you power.
When we were making decisions around who would be the best co-helm, it was really about thinking about who's actually the strongest in my weaknesses and vice versa, and how do we balance each other out. Yeah, so my trimmer sitting behind me is Moira Dewey, a fellow laser radial sailor, and we actually grew up sailing together, and so have known each other for a really long time. We've put a lot of work into our communication and building a really strong team dynamic, and we've worked with experts actually from the corporate world.
Really make a difference for how you perform.
Something a little bit different. We decided to go away from the traditional sports psychologist approach and really try and just optimize our team performance, communication, and making quick decisions under pressure.
I think we're working really great as a team, and each person is bringing in a different skill set, and we're just trying to figure out how we can use all those skills in the most efficient and effective way.
So this is day number 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. It must be reminded it's the inaugural PUIG Women's America's Cup, and all of these teams have said in press conferences and post races they are dead keen to be the first team to lift that trophy, and it's a beautiful trophy too, 5 kilograms of silver, so there's a lot to look forward to, but it's actually the idea of beating some of the best sailors around the world right here in Barcelona. And it reminds me when we were talking and listening to Concord Pacific Racing about how this opens up. It just opens up to countries that can really get onto these AC40s and high performance race yachts. This is the standings after Fleet Race look number 3, and here's the one word that applies to Sail Team Barcelona: consistency. 3 second placings, that's 7 points, 3 7 to 21. No more maths, just. Yacht Team Dutch Sail, though, they are the big improvers. We'll talk about that shortly, because look at that. They go 5-3-1, and they sit in second position ahead of the Artemis Swedish Challenger, then Andu Team Australia on 16 points. Remember, as we get further down, 8 fleet races, we'll all be looking at the cut-off line. Now, that does prove to be somewhat of a tough go to get above the cut-off line, but it can happen. The America's Cup, as we know, is a symbol of excellence. Today, some of the world's best sailors are taking to the water in pursuit of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. And as you've seen, to sail these one-design, high-speed, high-performance AC40s, 4 need to think as 1. Success comes down to the talent and skill of the sailing team.
It's a big step for women to be given this opportunity.
There will never be a first one again. This is it.
I think it's a really good step in the right direction.
We really do have the best in the world racing against each other.
Provide no excuses for cup teams to not look at female sailors in the talent pool for the traditional cup teams in the future.
When I was a kid, I was always saying, oh my God, I want to do that, Luna Rossa America's Cup. I'm feeling very, very lucky and honored to be part of this team.
Good start by all of the fleet in the PUIG Women's America's Cup.
Boat coming across us on the
The PUIG Women's America's Cup is a landmark event. In lots of sports, there is tokenism. We just don't believe in that.
I got it. Holding and rolling down.
We believe that people should be there under their own talent. But women don't have a natural pathway into the America's Cup.
This is a who's who of women's sailing.
The format of the women's event is we have 6 from the America's Cup teams and we have 6 from the invited teams, and they each race separately in separate pools, and then we take 3 winners from the America's Cup team side, 3 winners from the invited teams, and they come together for a set of fleet racing. And from there, the top 2 winners of the fleet race come together for a final match race, and it's whoever wins that takes all.
Because there's going to be teams that push it too far, and they'll end up on the sides. The high speeds that they're capable of makes split-second decisions critical.
There's no age limit for competing. We're seeing a lot of talent across all disciplines of sailing. We have a lot from the offshore field, we have a lot from the Olympics, and just fresh back from Paris, we have some Olympic medalists.
So it's a great day for sailing, but especially for women in sports.
And I really hope that we're going to inspire 5-year-old, 8-year-old girls to follow their dreams, and those little girls can say, hey, see, there's professional sailing. I can go and do that.
Keeping speed on to make this dive, boundary dive.
To win the first ever Women's America's Cup would be just unbelievable.
I think the moment is now, and it's just the momentum's going to carry.
The moment is now because we're heading into race number 4 on day 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. This is Group B, the invited teams. We've had 3 different winners, and we're 3 minutes and 25 and counting to a start in this 4th race. In other words, too hard to pick who's going to win this one.
You're having a quick look at the Ghost Boat. I have been watching it, and it's different every couple of minutes, but currently it's seeing some pressure on the top left-hand side and heading for that direction, but a real volatile race course. Keep your eyes out the boat, girls.
This is the race committee. This race is good to go.
Let's go down onto the water with Peter Lester on Chase Zero. From where you sit, what sort of race are we going to have weather-wise, Peter?
We're at the windward end of the line over by the committee boat for this one, and looking up the course to the right, we've still got that cloud cover, but then it's starting to clear on the seaward side, and that would indicate to me that the top left might be quite strong with the clearing of the sky, and there may well be not only a bit of left-hand shift, but a bit more pressure in the left at the final approach.
13 knots at the top of the track. Foiling Nirvana up there.
Certainly is, Shirley. With all these teams, absolutely loving it. They will not be able to sail without a smile on their faces.
We're listening to the Dutch team growing in confidence. We heard how much that win meant. They'll want to repeat that.
All teams at the moment just putting themselves in a position where they can do their final manoeuvre to line up for the start. It's a bit like doing a rolling start in a motor race. You just need to get the airflow over the engines, and then you get the green light, take off at pace. And the difference being that all boats get the opportunity to hit the start line together at full speed. It's absolutely what you're trying to achieve. Get off the start line over speed relative to your opponents. Put yourself in a solid position to take the lead early on.
It's only 7 or 8 knots at the bottom of the tack. 12 at the top. So crucial to stay on the foils. Get into that pressure.
5 to kill to pin. Coming down, Odile, weet je dat? Coming down, racing to the pin here. Ja, pin is open. Probeer geen andere boten die hetzelfde plan hebben.
All about getting to that new pressure first, Glenn.
Absolutely. Some of the teams just taking on a slightly different approach to what we've seen to the start previously, Shirley, and definitely wanting to get off. Need to do that speed build in clean air if you can. Australian team needing to jibe quickly, otherwise they will be late for the start.
Canada, Holland, time to burn.
Last race of the day on day 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. Race 4, Group B.
Another really impressive start there by Yacht, Team Dutch Sail, due on board, and do Team Australia, looking down the line at the boats that have taken off in front of them. So big gains to those boats that have started well, the Canadians and Yacht Team Dutch Sail.
Yacht Team Dutch Sail just half a metre back from the line. Definitely the queens of the start in this group.
We have protection. Board. Turning. My wheel. There's also that. Board up. That's traffic. All clear.
Really nice tack on board Yacht Team Dutch Sail. So Concord Pacific Racing, Canada having to thread the eye of the needle to just stay high enough to stay out of that affected bad air.
Okay, coming down 5. Good pressure should be building, coming over our shoulder here.
Yeah, as we heard from the Canadian team, just about to get into that new pressure, 12, 13 knots coming down the track.
Lijkt wel een beetje 2 gegeten hebben. Mooi. Happy met de bovenpiloot, denk ik. Plan A is zo in. Ik zie ook best oké druk komen.
Hearing the voice of Odile van Aanut.
Okay, Canada wordt gekild door ons.
This is the race committee. We are moving the leeward gate, shortening to 1.2 nautical miles.
Okay, wind wordt korter omdat de
A brilliant shot there. These 3 teams just duking it out. Absolutely doesn't get any closer than this. Racing on oiling AC40s. What a brilliant shot.
Good line-up, the 3 boats down to leeward. The Dutch are in a really powerful, strong position. The Canadians have done pretty well to survive thin on the hip like that, but that long port tack all the way across over to the right, and I think the right's going to come strong at the top. There's a light spot, but between where the boats are and the top mark, there is a little bit of green pressure coming down towards them, and when they tack onto starboard, they'll get the benefit of that.
Nice tack, Yacht Dutch Sail.
You just see what it means, Shirley, to get off the start line well. We keep saying, get off the start line well. The Canadians did as well. It just makes your race so much easier. Gives you more options. Attack when you want to attack, and you can sail your own mode. You're not dictated to, so off the start, all racing is so important.
Concord Pacific Racing. So a clean race here. They need some points. Currently sitting in 4th.
Blue Team Australia coming in towards that left-hand boundary. They will have boundary protection. The Spanish having to cave early, get out, otherwise they will get dirty air from the Australian team on this next tack. So important to get the boats locked in here.
And if these teams were to stay in this position, it would put Sweden out of the top 3 at this halfway stage, which none of us expected. Absolutely the form team for this event. Struggling on day 1.
Final race of the day, we're heading to the top gate, and it's the team, Yacht Team Dutch Sail. Race 3 winners that'll lead the fleet run. Could they be the first team in the fleet to win 2 in a row, because there's been 3 different winners so far, but confidence is blooming on board that boat. But this is the team here, Concord Pacific Racing, representing Canada. They're on the bubble, right on the bubble, but a win here could push them into the 3.
Oh, they have got plenty on the Canadians. And there we go, the head-to-wind check. The loss of the rudder there, just way too high. Not enough ease, and they will pay a big penalty.
But they've got themselves going again, have they? Yes, they have. Nice effort. Big moment, good save. Wow, it's all on a Sunday in Barcelona. The Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis, sitting in 5th position. That will be followed through a little bit later by AC Team Germany.
The G-forces, when you lose the rudder, the back of the boat, just wanting to overtake the front. It's like having a big lose in a car, back just wanting to spin around. That's exactly what's happened there for the Canadians. Lost a lot of ground.
It's worth having a look again.
Here we go.
Mark. Yep, I got you.
And around and gone. Back of the boat, just absolutely around. It's a little too heel, so what causes that is a quick turn, big quick turn. You see how much wheels going around the mark there, a little too much, not enough ease, and a little touchdown, but the Canadians still in this, not far off the pace, probably looking to dig their way back in. Great battle for second and third at the moment, behind the Dutch.
The Dutch team are still ahead, but Spain and Australia have really closed the gap, more pressure on their side of the track.
Second leg of 4, race 4.
And we're still
And
sailing
the
a long drive.
Group B invited teams from Barcelona, and just like yesterday, the last 2 races with better conditions and showing just how talented all these sailors are and handling these high-velocity AC40s.
So when the Spanish actually go board down and start their jibe, they have to complete their jibe, and then Australia will be the keep clear boat. The Aussies will be watching for that board to go down on the Spanish boat. Possibly the Spanish around the front of the Australians now as they are in a little bit of dirty air. Aussies keeping clear by jibing inside, which is absolutely the right manoeuvre.
Cuando puedas caer, incluso un poco para abajo. Sí, tienes para caer si quieres. Vale, vete ahora a modo rápido. Vale, voy a modo rápido. Sí. Ellas entran a boya.
Not much in it between Spain and Netherlands.
So heading to the bottom gate for the first time. This is tight. This is super tight. Just hold on for a moment.
The Dutch having to keep clear of the Spanish team. Just sneaking their way in front. Oh, the Sail Team Barcelona, big touchdown. Need to keep the boat foiling. They're going to lose a lot to Andu Team Australia. And straight on the inside, Andu Team Australia absolutely fired out of the cannon. Great boat handling there. Massive touchdown there for the Barcelonian team. That'll be disappointing. And Canada as well, huge touchdown, not getting that windward board down in time.
How much of this is pressure? How much of this is pressure when you've got, heading to the gate?
Largely wind pressure, I think, Stephen. We're seeing under 6 knots at the bottom gate now.
Please, markations here.
Teams just needing to anticipate that lighter breeze, knowing that if you've got a soak on these boats, if you're at max power, you have to use that windward foil to balance the boat, otherwise you will touch down and go windward heel. Nice down speed tack here. Rescue, that's the Dutch team's call for the excavator. Put your buckets on.
Let's just have another look. Aussies doing well, stayed on the foils.
Just see
the opportunity.
You just see the boat coming down, really needing to get the heel back in check. Just a little late on the trim up there, the Spanish team, and then getting caught really depowered and windward heel on the sail plan and the hull. So they're going to be at the back of the field after this.
And look who's popped up, sitting in position 3. The Swedish challenge, Parva Artemis, at that bottom gate. They come in 5th position. Suddenly they're in position 3 and big points on offer.
Mistakes by the teams in front have just opened the door. Surely the Swedish challenge powered by Artemis Technologies.
Yeah, they've not done anything flash, just waiting for the opportunities to come their way.
Mistake minimisation 101, and they are back in the hunt. Will be challenging Andu Team Australia. The Aussies need to keep it nice and smooth. They need every point they can after that last race, the Australians, so need to sail the boat well from here.
Rolling up here. All good. Nice. Looks like there's a lot of pressure coming in. Got a lot of rudder kicks here. Rocking it windward here. Yeah, good.
The green area on the racetrack, more wind. 11 knots at the top of the track.
Daar beginnen we met de straight set en dan even langs die boundary, zeg maar. Ja, mee eens.
This is the race committee. We are moving the finish line, shortening the final leg to 1 nautical mile.
Wind tot boundary. Ongeveer 13 knopen wind here. Stand by in 2.
The Dutch head over to the left. That's where the pressure is. They've really sailed an absolute beautiful race. They won the start. A little bit of pressure at the bottom mark that first time, but on this second windward beat, they've picked every little wind shift and, more importantly, stayed in the pressure. The fight behind them is getting quite intense, but the Dutch have had an absolute blinder of a day. They win this one, they'll have 2 wins in the first day of the Women's America's Cup for the invited teams. It's still pretty dynamic out here, although from where the boats are now to the top looks pretty steady.
What boat do you want to sail? Oh, nuts. Just holding PMG, I'm just working around what I can see. Yeah, nice.
Olivia Price, Australian team
15, boundary
on the charge.
18. Ley lines in 10. We're going to have issues with the Swedish. I mean, ley lines out the zone, so let's go into the zone up. And going in 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Right-hand shift there on board the Swedes, so both the Swedes and the Australians potentially tacking into a bit of a right-hand shift, so that will not help them compared to the leaders, Yacht Team Dutch Sail, who are just sailing a beautiful race, but nothing in this battle, the second and third.
And that's what we want. We want battles, and we are seeing battles. Race 4, Yacht Team Dutch Sail, who won race 3, heading to the top gate for the final time on the day. And then it's around the mark and heading home. No mistakes, and they get another 10 points. Close behind will be Andu Team Australia and the Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis. They say they take the same mark.
Potentially good pressure coming down that side of the course.
There goes the Swedish Challenge again, so they've all taken that right-hand mark as we see it, left for them.
Continue a little bit more. We have the other boats.
All teams must be seeing something down that side of the course.
Dive straight
So they're all
after.
heading that way.
Stand by. Yep. Diving in 2, 1, and board down. Board down.
Sail Team Barcelona, AC Team Germany coming into that top gate, and the Canadians will be ruining what happened, because they're in a strong position to earn big points, as we see Yacht Team Dutch Sail powering their way to potentially win number 2 on day 1 for Group B.
And board up. Coming up, East O'Neill. Yeah. And slowly going down. Okay, one drive to the finish. Let's get on down to the finish.
De loose direct.
Andere Zweden achter ons is al
Trim.
Copy. Okay. Wij zijn er ook
Trim is doing a
bijna.
really nice job. Steep learning curve. The Dutch haven't had a huge amount of time on these AC40s at all. 35 knots of boat speed
One, board down.
on all 3 boats. The Australians not far away, sailing into them quite quickly in a little more pressure. Dutch need to execute well. The Aussies will be
The left side of the line is
rolling right by.
Yeah, coming up. Left is favored. Yeah. I mean, we can go faster. Yeah, let's go it. Bring 140.
It's been another stellar performance in the 4th race of the day in Group B for the PUIG Women's America's Cup. And Yacht Team Dutch Sail will win 2 in a row and go to the top of the points table, followed in by Andu Team Australia. And most importantly, too, for the Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis, they pick up 5 points. They're probably still below the cut line, but they're closing in on the top 3.
Swedish team sailing a really clean race from being back a little bit early on. A couple of mistakes by the boats in front of them, very costly, and allowing them to slip back into that final podium position. But Andu Team Australia also doing a really nice job to keep the boat locked in and finishing P2.
So Team Barcelona, that mark routing, bottom leg 2, how costly it was. They were really strong. Well, they have been really strong. Let's not forget, they have finished second on 3 occasions today, and this will be a 4th, but it should keep them in the top 3. Consistency counts in the PUIG Women's America's Cup. They cross the line, and they will be followed by AC Team Germany. And they pick up 5th position and the 2 points.
Wait, that's not the finish, I think. What?
German team just getting more and more comfortable sailing these AC40s. Shirley doing a really nice job every race, just getting better and better.
Yeah, although Helm Marushil, we saw her in the Youth America's Cup, the trimmers were all fresh. Steep learning curve.
You have finished.
And let's just remember, the Canadians were looking so strong at the top gate for the first time, that their big moment. Pulled the handbrake on, but recovered well, but not well enough, and it's cost them big time. They were in the big points mode, and they finish 6th and last. They'll pick up a point. Concord Pacific Racing, still though, below the cut line, but not out of it. 4 races done, 4 to go in Group B. Let's confirm the final race of the day, the opening day for Group B, the invited teams, and it's another win to Yacht Team Dutch Sail, followed by Andu Team Australia, the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis, Sail Team Barcelona, Team Germany, and Concord Pacific Racing representing Canada. So what do the standings look like? Well, there you have it. Pretty tight at the top. Look at that, there's only 4 points between 3rd and 1st. But right now, after the first day in Group B, it's Yacht Team Dutch Sail, the 5th, a 3rd, then 2 wins, bang, bang. Sail Team Barcelona, 3 seconds and a 4th. And Andu Team Australia, they'll be crossing their fingers that 1 win and more consistent racing will keep them in the 3, just below the cut line. The Swedes, followed by Concord Pacific Racing out of Canada and AC Team Germany. Someone's got the music going. Gotta love it. That's what winning means, yeah. Hi Mum, hi Dad, hi family. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Well, that victory started here. I mean, they flew off that start line, just back from the line. Great start by them and the Canadians, which was going to be a tussle all the way up. Dutch rounded first. The Canadians held on to that advantage. So important to get a good start. And then this. We love that moment. Hopefully we'll see it a few times again. And it was tight at the gate, just getting round ahead were the Dutch. But in that battle, the Spanish fell off the foils and struggled from there, just nipping round inside. Team Australia.
Really live. Continuing to boundary.
Well, again, they started cheering before they crossed the line. The victory, the second win of the day, went to this Netherlands team, getting better and better.
For the second race in a row, we go on board Yacht Team Dutch Sail. Congratulations, 2 wins in a row. The improvement is going through the roof. Let's start with Willemijn. Willemijn, where is the improvement coming from? Inside from race 1, where you finished 5th, to now race 4, and you're top of the table.
Yeah, I think we have very good teamwork, and we just keep coaching each other and improving as much as we can. And also in the race, having the recap, what is the priorities. And yeah, I think we're very happy and doing an incredible job.
Annette, question for you. You've been to the Olympics 3 times, and What's better, the Olympics or sailing an AC40 at the moment?
I don't know. I think also with the amount of practice we had, I think it's just more to, it's more about being out there and having a lot of fun, which you definitely had today. And the Olympics can be pretty stressful as well, so I think it's a bit more relaxed and a lot of fun.
Let's cross over to the other side of the boat. Odile, we are loving the celebrations on the Dutch boat. I can tell it means a lot. I mean, how surprised are you about how well it's gone today?
Yeah, we are a bit surprised, to be honest. We had 2 days in the boat, and on day one we were like, oh, this is a lot of fun, but racing is a whole different level, and that first race definitely hurt us a bit, but we also knew we had more potential. And honestly, I think it's what Trillerman sailing, just great teamwork, and we're all about positivity, having fun, being nice to each other, and showing that you can also be great professional athletes while being kind to each other. So that's our plan, and that's what we'll do going forward.
Let's have a quick question to Ariane. I mean, your team are nailing the starts. It's a masterclass. How is that all coming together?
I think we did a lot of practice in the simulators, and it actually helped a lot. And I think we were pretty confident because even the first start, which we didn't end well, but even that start was good. So I think we're super happy, and the girls are doing a great job at the start.
Well, congratulations, Yacht Team Dutch Sail. After 4 races, top of the table. Let's go on to Sail Team Barcelona because they sit in second position. We'll start with Sylvia Mas. Sylvia, congratulations. Consistency paying off big time today. You sit just 3 points behind the leaders. Congratulations. Was consistency a key word heading into this regatta?
Yeah, thank you. It was a difficult day with a lot of pressures up and down, and it was all about keeping on the foils. And yeah, we are happy. We need to figure out with some maneuvers still, but very happy.
Yeah, a quick word to Maria. I mean, trimming looked so hard today. I mean, how much of a tough job was it to keep the wheels on?
Well, I think it was very important to have the head out and look for the best pressure, and to be able to have the good communication with the helms. I think we did a really good job with that, but we're still learning, and obviously made a few mistakes, which will be good for the future because it won't happen again.
Sylvia, the standard of the competition here is going through the roof. I mean, how much do you feel that you're improving every time you take these other 5 boats on?
Sorry, repeat.
Yeah, no, I'll slow down. My apologies. How much do you think you're improving with the standard of the competition?
Yeah, I think we are improving regatta by regatta. We have very little time on the water, but we are very happy, and also with our coaches there helping. I think we are improving quite a lot.
I will see more.
Congratulations, it's been a good day for Sail Team Barcelona. You're in second position.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's have a quick look at a key moment. I mean, this match was very alive at the bottom gate. The Spanish splashed down at the worst possible time, and Australia didn't. They had the rights to go in the inside, and they took it, knowing that Spain could not defend. And by the time the fleet had rounded, Sail Team Barcelona had gone from 2nd to 6th overall. And while they did climb back a bit, it showed how damaging falling off the foils could be.
Yeah, look, a great performance from Team Yacht Dutch Sail. They topped the average speed by 0.32 of a knot, and also getting the best VMG by a similar margin. But there isn't much to separate these teams, and it shows that when foiling, all 6 of them can find pace around the racetrack. So the competition is still very much open, with 4 more races left to run.
Let's talk about Yacht Team Dutch Sail, shall we? After months and months of honing their skills on their simulators, right now 2 wins and they're leading this Group B. And like many of the Group B invited teams, they've been playing a huge game of catch-up, relying on sims to get up to speed and master these high-speed falling monohulls. And as you've seen, write them off at your peril. They are brimming with talent and experience.
Ja, we gaan nog 2 tags doen en dan een right and turn bij de bovenboeing. Stand by check. Ja, one more down. And holding. Rescue. Oh, I already nice. Great goal. Okay, 6 knopen speed en onderhandel. Okay, is out 2 boards? Happy to continue dan, toch? Ja. Coming down if you can. No, we cannot. Okay, copy. Board up. This angle is okay. That's a JK!
It has been a big day out for Yacht Team Dutch Sail, and they have absolutely just thrown themselves and into it and having such a good time. Make sure everyone at home that's watching in the Netherlands that they are on point and doing the job. And this is the one thing we have talked about, even through the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, improvement. But gee whiz, they went 5-3-1-1. That's rocket improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not impressed by the talent. I've watched particularly Odile and Annette at the Olympic Games. They are a phenomenon of their generation, fantastic sailors. But what I am impressed with is just how they've got to grips with such a technical boat in literally a matter of days, and that has been impressive.
Great support team around them, and you know, Peter Yarn and all the team absolutely doing a great job, and not a lot of time on the water, but a great depth around them, and every team needing the support to get the boats up to speed.
Let's go onto the water, Peter. It's been a busy day, almost like yesterday, where we had sort of 2 soft races, then 2 big races weather-wise. What's impressed you about the fleet in Group B?
Oh, just the improvement and the enthusiasm of the fleet, and especially the Dutch. And it's addictive. They're capitalising on that with just a brilliant day. The Spanish, for me, really consistent, rock solid, and for the Australians, a really good read of the conditions, I thought. The Swedes, who went in as regatta favourites, but they're hanging in there.
Thanks, Pete. It's been a big old day, and there's more coming your way tomorrow. Don't worry about that, because Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis started strongly, and they've regrouped quickly.
I'm not sure. I feel like they lost the momentum when they had that damage and had to sit out a race. They just never really shone from there. So a disappointing day for this team. Massive expectations, well practiced. Hopefully they can come out firing tomorrow.
But how you respond to pressure is the key. So the next 4 races for Sweden will be incredibly important, and they can look back and go, okay, they have a huge debrief and into it.
Absolutely. This absolutely super tight field and all points just closing up. So the next few races absolutely key to making that top 3 cut.
So there is one team that's certainly pretty happy right now, and that's Yacht Team Dutch Sail. They broke the deadlock of having 3 different race winners, and they won both the last 2 races, so they top the table. And you gotta love this, hey? Live sport in front of millions of people.
You think they're enjoying themselves?
Okay, so let's just remind you of what day 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup opened up. It was a great start of the day for Artemis racing the Swedish Challenge.
Yeah, and the starts got tighter and tighter, and so did the racing. I mean, certainly we've had a ball watching this today, and it is only day 1. All these teams have just got better and better. A few mistakes here and there. It's still a little bit loose in places, but I'm sure that is going to tighten up. We've enjoyed every second.
Really tricky day, conditions up and down, and we've seen some thrills and spills. We've seen some sad faces, some happy faces, some high emotions, and absolutely fantastic to see these women's teams just pushing the boats hard, super close crosses, some great action, and some big eyeballs at times in the back of those goggles, but that's what it's all about. Looking forward to tomorrow.
And Team Australia getting the win in race number 2. It was a nice, clean, efficient race, and then you get to race number 3, and it all starts just to open up a little bit. A lot of opportunity lost by some teams.
Yeah, I mean, Lisa Darmanin said it well. They didn't know what to expect. None of these teams, it was absolutely, there was no real form going into this. And all of them have done so well. And it is tight, isn't it? Looking forward to tomorrow.
And Yacht Team Dutch Sail, they put their first marker down by winning race number 3. And it was the high 10s, and then you get to race number 4, and again we have seen that they're nailing the start, Shirley, and that's critical when the fleet is so tight.
Yeah, if you nail the start and keep it together, you're going to be winning a lot more races.
Concord Pacific Racing out of Canada will have learned a lot today, because they were in a high point scoring mode. But day number 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup, the inaugural Women's America's Cup, has certainly provided entertainment. And that's what it's all about. Winning that, every team wants to be the team to lift that trophy on October 13, the PUIG Women's America's Cup. So how about this? Let's look at Group A and Group B, both having raced their first 4 races of 8. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli in Group A leading only by 4 from Athena Pathway. Yacht Team Dutch Sail leading by just 3 from Sail Team Barcelona, who have been the most consistent team today. And then you can see the teams below the cut line. Nothing in it as we move forward to another week of sailing here in Barcelona and the PUIG Women's America's Cup. The very first. Tomorrow, well, guess what? Group B are back into it. So any team that has momentum will be going, yep, let's do this again. And we'll bring you the invited teams from 2:10 local time. It started with energy and it finished with energy. There was so much going on. Quiet fleet races the first 2, and just like yesterday, the big ones at the end just provided plenty to look forward to, which is what you can do tomorrow. Group B are back tomorrow, live from Barcelona.